Hello. So, did you all learn about how you can reach your goals and commitment with Avon? Because like only Avon makes it happen, much like the Amiga. The Avon is the Amiga of MLMs. I don't know what I'm saying. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Uh, welcome, everybody. I'm going to be finishing off Interactive Entertainment today. Interactive Entertainment issue 01. If you haven't seen that, it's a multimedia magazine that I'm going through. I'm also going to be showing off Laserdisc training from Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box, much like other companies of the 80s, embraced the Laserdisc. It really did. And they put out not just a training video, but a video training you on how to do the training. I'm not kidding. It's really interesting. Before we get started, though, I want to thank some folks. Pardon me. I want to thank Kefki12 for the 2-month resub. Thank you so very much. I always love seeing Doug there. Thank you, Obscuratory, as well, for the 2-month resub and the terrifying baby. I don't like that baby, but I always see it. I mean, it's my fault. I made the baby. Well, no, I didn't. Anyways, Microsoft technically made the evil baby. Thank you, Scratching Away, for the 2-month resub. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Neo0, 2-month resub as well with my favorite little bird. CyberNav Jack, 2-month resub. Alex Rolls, thank you. I try to do my best. And thank you, Mooware, giving 3 subs to the community and helping me reach my 25 sub goal. Thank you so much for that. Damn, a lot of support today. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that. All right, you ready to get started with Interactive Entertainment? There we go. We got Dudesbury. He's back. It's funny. I actually set up the computer to change themes every month, and it decided not to, which is fine. It doesn't have to do that. Second. I just got to adjust the desktop audio here. There we go. Okay, so Interactive Entertainment. This is issue from 1 of May 1994. And this was an interactive multimedia magazine about games. Video games for the PC and video games for console. Been a while. Gotta remember how to do this. There we go. There it is. Yeah, I think maybe the computer just...
Welcome to Interactive Entertainment.
I think we were at the reviews. We're at the reviews section here. We did page 1, because I remember Fields of Glory. I think we were at page 2, where we had FIFA and all these other systems. Let me turn down on mine. Let me know if the audio balance is good as well. Just want to make sure that it sounds good. And let's go with FIFA Soccer.
Given its realism, it's no surprise that EA Sports' new FIFA International Soccer wasn't produced in the United States. Since America has never embraced what we call soccer, and what everyone else on the planet calls football, with the same unbridled enthusiasm as the rest of the world, it's good that this particular game was produced by the
Astrodome,
folks at
there
EA
is
Canada.
not a rip of it
And
on
since
YouTube,
FIFA,
but it
World Soccer's
is on
international governing body,
archive.
has put its seal of approval on it, rest assured the designers had the soccer purist in mind. FIFA International Soccer offers enough game options to befuddle any soccer junkie.
Are you getting
If you're
befuddled?
bilingual or simply enjoy reading a language you don't understand, you can set the game up in French, Spanish, and German.
Thank you, Astrodome 1994, for the follow. I appreciate it.
Surface and weather conditions. You can select your team's strategy from all-out attack to long ball to emphasis on defense. In addition to the particular
Thank you, Big
formation
Bang
that
Blitz,
you
for the
think would
follow
best
as well.
suit the style
Appreciate
you
that.
choose. The choices become even more specific. If you're the type of fan who feels soccer is a full contact sport, the referee will ignore anything up to and including a cross-body block, or the game official can be instructed to disqualify players for particularly brutal fouls. If you lean toward the American attitude that soccer doesn't feature enough scoring, you can eliminate the offsides call to open up the action all over.
Eliminate the offsides.
Once you're actually into the game, get set to pull off moves that you probably only dream of doing when you're actually playing. Your players can make sliding tackles all over the field, reverse direction with bicycle kicks, or dive through midair for shots on goal. The game's graphics feature crowd reaction that will make you feel as though you're sitting just behind the moat in the front row of a European soccer stadium as the boos and cheers rise and fall.
You know, we have a soccer stadium in Austin. I've never been,
Your opponent
but
scores a goal, the player celebrates in a fashion that makes
my
you wish
issue
there
with
was a
it is
trash
that
talk track that could accompany his
it's not air
celebrations on the
conditioned.
field.
And I feel like being in a non-air conditioned
Soccer may never achieve the
Texan
popularity in this
stadium
country
sounds
of
like
good old
hell.
American sports like baseball and football, but there's a sizable segment of the population out there that understands and appreciates the game.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
audience is sure to enjoy EA Sports FIFA International Soccer, a game that takes soccer seriously enough to make it fun for the soccer fan to play.
All right, and let's check the.
Given its realism, it's no surprise.
I want to hear a second opinion.
I consider myself an expert on sports games. Why? Because in general, I hate them. If a game is good enough to interest even me, I figure it must be pretty good. FIFA Soccer is a very good game indeed. It's the first sports game since Lynx 386 Pro that I wanted to play again and again.
All right, what are the pros?
In FIFA International Soccer, you can select your style of play from all-out attack to all-out defense in whatever formation you please. Once you're playing the game itself, you'll find that you're able to change control from player to player.
Yeah, doesn't pros look
it's the
terrible? It's like
soccer
missing
you're going
half
to
of
find
it.
without actually going outside to play.
And what are the cons?
This is the closest thing you're ever going to get to a complete rave from this reviewer. Soccer fans have been subjected to some horrible video games over the years.
It's been
which makes it
subjected.
difficult to criticize any aspect of FIFA International Soccer. If the designers could improve anything, they could enhance the visibility of the players, who occasionally appear lost on the field.
And what else should we try? Halo Soccer. Okay, is this before Sensi Soccer? Because, like, I feel like if you're not recommending sensible soccer and it exists, then you're doing a disservice to the world of gaming. All right, next up, F-14 Fleet Defender.
For all of the Flight Sim fans who enjoyed F-15 Strike Eagle 3, Microprose has released Fleet Defender. This carrier-based F-14 Tomcat flight simulator is Microprose's second game based on their popular F-15 flight engine. The game offers an option called Scramble for those of us that don't like to read manuals or set difficulty levels.
Same,
This
that's
allows
me.
you to just jump in the cockpit and go. This option is pretty much standard.
Back
in most
there it
flight
says
sims,
anytime,
but it would
baby,
have
and has a
been
cool
missed if left
tiger.
out.
No,
This
no,
is
go
your
back to the
armament
tiger.
screen. The listings in the upper left-hand corner are your choices. Unfortunately, you are limited to standard payloads. So if you had your heart set on 15 Sidewinders or 50 bombs, tough rocks, pal. And the view box lets you do just that. See what the missile actually looks like. When you get into the actual flying part of the game, you can hit escape and come to this menu. Here is where you will find the controls for turning on nifty little gadgets like the Thrustmaster products, changing detail setting, and so on. Incidentally, the flight control
How much
and
were
weapons
those
control systems
Thrustmaster
are already
controllers?
supported
I always
and
assumed they were
work
way too
great.
much money.
As mentioned before, the graphics for Fleet Defender are based on those of F-15 Strike Eagle 3. Though these can be nice, blotchiness of the sky and planes leave a lot to be desired. They just seem blurry, period. The cockpit graphics are pleasing though, and laid out well, as they would be in an F-14. Of course, you
Welcome,
do have
Razor.
your
Yeah, I'm
usual number
streaming
of outside
interactive
views, including a
entertainment.
missile view,
It's
which is
entertainment.
always nice.
It's interactive.
One thing they could have done, though, is made the outside view movable, say,
Yeah.
with the hat switch, a la Red Baron. Instead, you're stuck behind your jet. Say, guys, can't we get a look at the front of the plane?
No.
Another problem with Fleet Defender is common to most jet flight sims. Your enemies are usually just dots in the sky, and with a few punches of the keyboard, they're dead. I know this may be appealing to a lot of people out there, but this reviewer just doesn't happen to be one of them. Give me
Aw.
Red Baron, where I can lay into my enemy up close and personal. You know what I mean? We'll be right back.
You've seen his games, you've played out his
Oh,
fantasies,
yeah, and this
now
has
listen to what he
unskippable
has to say.
ads.
Lord British talks
But the
to
unskippable
IE.
ads are for the
Check it out
magazine
under
itself.
The features section in the main menu or the interactive interviews section in the table of contents. Do you have what it takes to save Earth using only your wits, skill, and your trusty sidearm?
No.
Check out Corridor 7, the hot new action thriller from Capstone, and find out. It's you against
Capstone!
the aliens in this fully playable demo located under Install Demos off the main menu.
And now, back to IE.
What's everybody
The
drinking
difficulty
today? Before the
settings are
stream,
done
I had a
well, giving a new
massive
trainee the
smoothie,
practice
and now I'm
seat
having
while
some
slowly
strawberry
promoting him
kombucha.
to higher and higher levels. The first scramble mission on the trainee level is a little too easy, though, only taking 2 keyboard buttons to down your first jet. You'd think you'd at least have to move the joystick. As in F-15-3,
And
the
Decode Red, that's
explosions are a
good.
very pretty sight to see,
Strawberry
especially
Dr.
when they're your
Pepper,
enemies
water.
going down in
Water's
flames
water's
and
a
not you.
classic.
They are
Water's a
especially
real
easy to see
classic.
in this beautiful night scene. And
Ooh,
look,
Diet Coke and
even
root
your
beer,
instruments
that
light
sounds
up
good.
at night. It's almost as if you're driving a Lexus. The weather conditions
This is
and
nothing
effects,
like a
as well
Lexus.
as the
Knock
night
it
and day
off.
effects are very nice. But one thing I did notice is that if it's cloudy, it's just overcast. No clouds here and there, just a blanket as far as the eye can see. No scattered at 35, no broken.
Ooh,
just
Schweppes.
soup. If
Sorry,
you're
I'm a
flying
ginger
naval
ale
plane,
freak.
like, say, an F-14, you could assume that you'll be landing on an aircraft carrier. Good assumption. Yes, in fact, you do have to land on this tiny little aircraft carrier while coasting in at about 200 knots. At first, this was virtually impossible. I could never slow down enough to actually touch down on the carrier. But fortunately, Microprose included the nice little option of auto-landing.
Ooh,
Good idea,
auto
folks.
landing.
For those of you who are a little more ambitious and like
I
to
like the
indulge in those
FMV
strenuous
guys. I
campaigns
like that.
Microprose is so fond of,
I
Fleet
don't know
Defender
about
has
this
one of those
logo
too.
though.
It's done just like
Should be
their
like a
other flight
shark
sims. You
or
can do the
Donald
standard
Duck.
things like edit your name, edit your squad,
Hat's
and
not
also
scary.
which scenario you'd like to fly in. One very cool addition
Unless they're
that
the Hat
Microprose
Squad, then that's
threw into
kinda
Fleet
scary.
Defender is promotional points. You earn points for each
It's the
mission
Hat Squad?
finished
Okay.
successfully. You go up in rank when you reach the right amount of points. You also receive points for medals received. This is a refreshing treat in Fleet Defender, and I hope to see more like it in the future. Finally, there's the Top Gun scoreboard where all of those hard hours
We
of
got
flying,
Twin
those
Daddy,
painstakingly earned
Neptune,
medals
Grunt, and
promotions all come together.
Disco. I like
If you haven't
Dragon.
already noticed, my
Big
name isn't on the list.
Mac.
Oh well, I still have my day job. All in all, Microprose has brought us
Look at
another
them!
good flight simulator in Fleet Defender, and those who liked F-15
Their
Strike Eagle
jackets.
will love it. I definitely have to say I liked this game quite a bit.
All right, let's check out the
For all of the flight
additional
sim
info here.
Fans of F-15 Strike Eagle won't want to miss Fleet Defender, but I still much prefer the old pre-Jet Age flight sims. I don't know, I just find it much more exciting to annihilate an opponent in a dogfight when he isn't blocked by the horizon.
Okay, fair enough. Pros.
The graphics
Raj.
are quite nice, the control is great, and the Thrustmaster support actually works for a change. The point systems for promotions is a really nice touch in the campaign mode.
And the con.
Unfortunately, this is an F-14 Tomcat simulation.
Yeah,
Shooting down
boo.
dots from miles and miles away is not everyone's idea of fun, and landing on the carrier can be a total bitch with whiskers.
I guess so. Okay. Okay, I'll play those games. All right. We already looked at Fury of the Furries and Growlers last time. Let's look at the Horde.
Crystal Dynamics' The Horde for 3DO combines a mini-movie with a strange fusion of strategy game and arcade hack and slash. You're the central character in a somewhat goofy story of the Middle Ages, complete with a scheming villain, a powerful sword, lots of evil and stupid monsters to kill, and of course,
I love when the
castles.
monsters are stupid and
You're
evil.
a castle servant named Chauncey, who gains favor with the king through timely use of the Heimlich maneuver. This scene is shown in a film segment, and overacted beyond belief, with the barely capable Chauncey played.
I wanted to
appropriately
play the
enough,
Horde
by the
so
very
bad as a
capable
child,
Cameron.
and then playing
The
it
king,
as an
played by
adult,
Michael McCarthy,
like we
is
have
so
definitely
overcome
streamed the
with
Horde
gratitude
before.
that he dubs his lifesaver Sir Chauncey the Brave.
That is Kirk
This angers
Cameron.
the evil High
pre
Chancellor
Left
Mayo,
Behind
played by
days.
Michael Gregory, and he determines to make Chauncey's life more painful than it should be. He's delighted to hear that Sir Chauncey's first task is to rescue the Shimto planes from the frequent attacks of...
As a kid,
yes, you
this
guessed
looked
it,
like it
the
rocked to
Horde.
me, and then I
The
played
Horde
it,
is
and I was
composed
just
of
like,
diverse
oh
horde
no.
units, ranging from the hyperactive adolescents to the really slow but almost unstoppable juggernauts. There are also the piranhas, the shamans, and various terrain adaptations. These fiends do have some important features in common, though. They're very hungry, very stupid, and very messy when they burst like overripe tomatoes.
Ew.
You have to defend your domain from these voracious idiots, and also
Pretty
make enough
sure
money
this
from
got
its
a Saturn
agriculture to pay
port.
the High Chancellor's
This was on a
ever-rising
lot of
salary.
systems, if I
The
recall.
game starts as a strategy field.
It was definitely on
You have
3DO.
2 real-time minutes to prepare for the inevitable Horde attack. You can expand the lakes to the point where any Hordeling who wanders in will drown. You can also build fences or dig spiked pits, but you must remember that anything that hinders the Horde can also hinder you. This becomes a very real problem when the 2 minutes end and the wholesale slaughter begins.
I don't
At this
remember it
point,
being
it becomes
tough. I
obvious
just
that
remember
Chauncey
being
is not cut
bored
out for this line
and
of work. 3
confused,
swings of
which
the heavy sword
that's
grim
usually
shot
how I
too
feel when I
close
play most
together, and
games.
he gets dizzy. This may seem like quite a drawback, but it also makes for a great excuse to tell your friends if you don't match their scores. Just tell them you weren't playing badly, you were doing a very good job of role-playing a clumsy and incompetent character. On the financial
always
side of
role-playing
things,
that.
you can chop down and sell trees to make some quick cash, but you'd better remember to replant them for another season. You can also buy cows as a long-term investment, but the Hordlings have a strong yen for steak tartare and human flesh, and anything else that happens to be in their path for that matter.
That's no
When you get
good.
enough money, you can hire help or buy magic items, but holding on to your hard-earned crowns for that long is not an easy task.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Microprose has done it again. This time it's
Microprose
XCOM,
has
their
done
newest
it again.
strategy game featuring tactical level combat. Look
I
under
like
the
how
Install
wide they
Demos
are.
section of the main menu. Do you have what it takes to save Earth using only your wits, skill,
Capstone,
and
Capstone,
trusted sidearm?
Capstone.
Check out Corridor 7, the hot new action thriller from Capstone, and find out. It's you against the aliens in this fully playable demo located under Install Demos off the main menu.
And now, back to interactive entertainment.
Every now and then, your crystal ball will deliver a film segment report from FNN, the France Polanyi News Network, telling you about important happenings, like when several overzealous wizards decide to prevent an upcoming drought with 3 separate rain spells and end up causing a terrible flood.
A major flood watch is in effect.
The graphics are very good.
A
Particularly
capstone
nice are
stream
the
is a
citizens
really
walking
good
the roads
idea,
and the cows
but you're
grazing in the
absolutely
field.
right that I would want
They are
to.
even smoother
I
than the
don't
film
know how my
segments.
brain
The
would handle
Hordlings are
setting
not
it up.
particularly frightening, but this just isn't that kind of game. The sound effects are often very funny. When an unfortunate cow is eaten in one gulp by a hungry Hordling,
An
he lets out a
unfortunate
surprise,
cow.
"Ooh." The only problem with the sound is that the music is far too repetitive. Given that you spend 4 or 5 years in one village, you'd think they could write a new song every once in a while. The film portions are not as funny as the rest of the game, unfortunately. I'm sure it's deliberate, but they have all the subtlety of a road accident. As usual,
Yeah,
the best part is the bad
I've been
guy.
curious about the
Michael
Homie
Gregory
D
as the
Clown
High
adventure
Chancellor
game
is
is the
reminiscent of
thing.
Dr.
I
Clayton's
also
Forester
played
on Mystery
Capstone
Science
did the
Theater
Beverly
3000.
Hillbillies game,
He
right?
just enjoys being
I
evil
had
so
that.
much. As for Kirk Cameron, you may actually be grateful for the chance to lead him to his death or imprisonment.
Yeah, I
The
am.
Horde is the first worthy game I've seen for the 3DO. Despite the asinine
The
video
first
clips,
worthy game.
which mercifully were not incorporated into the gameplay, there's an awful
I didn't
lot to
know
like
Port
about
was
the
by
Horde.
was
The
Toys for
graphics really
Bob.
push
Good
the
for
3DO
them.
to its limit, and the animation must be seen to be believed. Sound effects are atmospheric, and the music is excellent if repetitive. The best part about it, however, is that it's a totally original game concept, something as rare these days as an adolescent Hordling on the Shimto Plains. At least when Chauncey Grimthwacker and I get through with them. Crystal
All right, let's hear the second opinion.
Short and to the point, this game is worth owning.
West
If you don't have a
Wyoming,
CDO, you
thank
should
you for the
consider
2-month
acquiring one just to
resub.
play
Thank
the
you.
Horde. It's a fun game. It's easy to play. It looks good. Why am I standing here telling you this when I could be playing it?
Wow, this guy really likes it.
The best thing about the Horde is that it's a good game, and it's actually at its best on the 3DO. The video clips, though cheesy, are good quality for full screen, full motion, and add considerably to the goofy tone of the game. Graphics and sound effects also are better than average.
And the cons?
The video cutscenes in the Horde are major hokey. It's also disappointing that there isn't a single clip of Kirk Cameron being maimed, tortured, or dismembered. The 3DO controllers also leave a lot to be desired, particularly on the diagonals. This wouldn't be so bad, except that the village roads, which allow Chauncey to catch up with the attacking Hordlings double time, all run along the diagonals.
I love that they're like, why can't we torture Kirk Cameron? My God, let us torture Kirk. That is so good. All right, what else should we try? Populous in SimCity 2000. People did hate Kirk Cameron back then, too. They thought he was cheesy and annoying. If I recall, I could be wrong, but I do remember him being seen as the 90s version of cringe. All right, John, Madden Football.
Madden Football, the first sports game for the 3DO, has finally arrived. According to EA Sports, the publishers of the game, Madden is the best-selling football game of all time. This being the case, you might think a 3DO conversion would kick some serious ass. Well, keep thinking.
Fiddle-dee-doo, this
As you
is
can
the only
see,
time
the
I'll be
introduction to Madden
gesturing
football
for
is done
you.
incredibly well. If you didn't know this was done on the 3DO, you'd think you were watching a Monday Night Football game. After all the fancy intros and Madden's personal welcome are over, this screen comes up. Here you choose what type of game, in what type of weather, and how long you want to play. This part of the game is
Fiddle-dee-do, I
pretty
want to
standard,
play in the
but incredibly,
snow.
they didn't include a full season, preseason alone, single game, or the playoffs. When you start the actual game, the speed of play is outrageous. I don't know of one cartridge-based football game as fast as Madden for the 3DO. I consider
Fiddle-dee-go,
this a
let's all
good
play
thing.
some football.
You have a wide variety of plays to choose from, as you do in all the Madden games. However, executing the plays is not always easy. Madden has the ability to move
Executing? Weren't you
diagonally,
just speaking
but
of
as luck would
executing
have it,
Kirk
the 3DO
Cameron?
controller is hideous, making
Shall we
it virtually
execute Kirk
impossible.
Cameron
This
by
alone
putting him in the
could ruin the
football
game for
field
some
and
people.
running over him with our feet?
This neat little feature
Just
is
stump,
new
stump,
to the
stump,
Madden
stomp on
series,
him.
but it definitely is made possible only by the 3DO's video capabilities. Though it's a nice effect, it doesn't really add much to the game. The instant replay is well done. with a
I
very
think
cool
these should
zoom
all be
feature.
Kirk
However, you
Camerons.
can't
The
rotate
Kirk
the field as
Cameron
you can in the
football
Super Nintendo
team.
version of
We could
Madden
we could
94.
fix the
For
Washington
all the
football
power of
team
the
name and call them
3DO,
the Kirk
you'd expect fancy
Camerons.
things like this to be
We
standard
cloned them
fare.
all with Kirk Camerons.
This
We
game
put
gives
all
you
the
a ton
Kirk
of stats
Camerons
at
in the
halftime,
game,
and at the
and then
end
they
of
all
each
run
game.
into each
But
other
since
and
you
get
can't play a
hurt.
full season,
That
who cares?
is the
Stats
Jester's
are
plan.
meaningless unless you can
I've
compare
turned
them
from
or
Jester
compile
to
them for
Evil
the season.
Vizier.
Overall, Madden is a pretty decent football game, and of course it's the only one for the 3DO at this time. Had EA obtained a license from the NFL Players Association and included a full season, Madden Football for the 3DO would have been the best football game on any platform, period. Tragically, without those additions, Madden falls well short of being perfect.
Football! Did you see his little dance? Oh, I wish to dance like that. All right, we did football, and now it's time for Lucky's Casino. I'm sure this is normal.
Lucky's Casino Adventure by QQP falls well short of the fun promised in its title. This PC game is a lot of things, but an adventure it's not.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Doom has been this year's biggest game by far. You've heard the gruesome stories and you've read the long articles.
Fiddle-dee-boom, have
Now
you
check
heard
it
of
out for yourself
Doom?
with the Doom
I have.
1.2 shareware version
There's another
in the
man
main
we can
menu
put. There's
under
another game we can put
Install
Kirk
Demos.
Cameron in. We can put Kirk Cameron as the
Under a
enemies
Killing
or
Moon,
the main
Access
guy.
Software's latest creation is
Do not
nearly
put
here.
Kirk Cameron in
With
Under a
full
Killing
motion, real
Moon. He,
actors, and a plot that
I
would
do not
stump
believe
even
he
the
would do
best
well.
armchair sleuths. Under a Killing Moon looks like their best game yet. Check out our preview in this episode under Features in the main menu or under Previews in the table of contents.
And now, back to interactive entertainment.
This release's biggest assets are that it's easy to use and it includes a wide variety of casino games. Once you get past that, the question becomes, what possible good would it do you?
I
to
would
have
rather
this
have
now?
William
Serious
Shatner, I
gamblers aren't likely
suppose.
to enjoy this,
Kirk
since they'll get a
Cameron
charge out of
is-
risking real money. Those who do enjoy
Well,
PC
let me just say,
gambling
having
may be
gone to
less than
Catholic school, I
enthusiastic about
saw
watching it
many a
because of
Kirk
its lack of
Cameron in many an
support for multiple
educational
human
film
players.
telling me
In
what
Lucky's
not to
Casino
do,
Adventure,
and
you can play
I
a single
despise
game,
him
a
for
variety of
that.
tournaments, and a
Kirk
three-week
Cameron, you
vacation.
cannot tell me
While
not
it's
to
very
make out
easy
with
to move
people at
around
a
in this
carnival.
Game, the graphics look a little dated. The portraits of the characters you have to choose from have to be the worst-looking part of the game. To be fair, QQP has always been known for paying more attention to how their games play than
Fiddle-dee-dog,
how
what
they
the
look.
hell is
The
Red
play portion of
Dog?
Lucky's Casino Adventure does work well. There are a number of casino games available to play, including some I'd never heard of. Each game includes a help menu which outlines the basic playing rules and strategy tips. In the tournament mode, you can play at 7 different levels. each of which
Magnificent
includes a
7
different
slots. I
game.
do hope it's
You play
based
a
on
set
the
number of
film.
hands in each game, and your final ranking is determined by your earnings and your average bet. The 3-week vacation option attempts to simulate a gambling junket in QQP.
Fiddle-dee-daliber, I hate the way they
adventure part of the
constructed
game
the
mentioned in the title.
Excalibur.
You're given a set amount of money at the start of the trip and a choice of different casino hotels to visit. In addition to the expensive gambling, you've also got to pay for food and lodging. This section of Lucky's Casino Adventure is literally set up for 21
H's
days.
Castle,
It took about
okay.
an hour to get through one day, and it's hard to believe that this could hold anyone's attention for the length of time it would take to play 3 weeks worth of games. One of the stops in QQP City did demonstrate that the game's designers either have a sense of humor or are experienced compulsive gamblers. Mike's Pawn Shop is open 24 hours a day for the player who is down on his or her luck. If you enjoy casino gambling
That's
games,
sick.
Lucky's Casino
That's
Adventure
sick.
is a good draw. But if you're looking for a PC release that will be fun to play for an extended period of time, discard this game. Lucky's Casino Adventure by
Fiddle-dee-dinny, and let's get the second opinion. And with that, I'm out.
Lucky's Casino Adventure is the best gambling game I've seen for the PC. There's a lot
Hey,
of
what's up?
different
I
games
passed
in this
out. What'd I
package,
miss?
And they seem to follow Vegas rules pretty faithfully. However, I still feel that gambling without money is like sex without nerve endings. The mouse moves in steps along a grid, so control becomes an unnecessary hassle. It was so bad that I couldn't even click on most of the boxes in the sound setup screen to turn different sounds on. If you like gambling on your computer, you'll like Lucky's. But if you don't, this game won't change your mind.
All right, what are the extras here? The pros.
There are a lot of different gambling games in Lucky's Casino Adventure. They're easy to play in this PC release, and if you're not certain of a particular game's rules, the help menus provided make them easy to understand. It's difficult to understand why you would want to own Lucky's Casino Adventure. Serious gamblers wouldn't be interested because they play with real money, and casual PC game players are likely to get quickly bored playing this game.
Sounds great. What else should I try? Solitaire's Journey and Trump Castle 3. No, I will not be trying those, but thank you for offering. All right, next up is Mega Race.
Mega Race is the first CD-ROM only racing game for the PC. Before buying it, though, you should know that it's not a simulation like IndyCar or World Circuit, but an arcade combat racer more like Death Track or Battle Cars for the Super Nintendo.
Ooh.
It's a fairly simple arcade game jazzed up by hot cutscenes and lots of digitized speech. It's easy to expect too much from Mega Race, but when viewed as what it is, it's a fun little game. The setting is in the future. How far in the future? Who cares? It's only a game.
Yeah.
The dreariness of everyday reality has combined with advanced robotic workers and powerful information systems.
Oh, that's sick. My video store also had a few PC games to rent, but I never rented them. They also stocked the 3DO and the CDI, and I wanted to rent it so bad.
Television, the interactive giant of the entertainment
Now I can play them whenever I want. I win.
has the highest rated TV show in history. Mega Race, a contest where a few select lucky viewers jack into virtual reality to battle futuristic speed gangs in a race to the death. Your host for Mega Race is Lance Boyle.
What?
The schmaltziest game show host
Look
this
at-
side of John Davis.
Wow!
He's greasy.
Wow!
He's cheesy.
Holy
He's so
shit, this
sleazy,
guy.
He's entertaining. He makes David Lee Roth look sedate. Lance is a prominent feature in Mega Race, having over 20 minutes of dialogue. I think he's a blast. But if you have a low cheese threshold, the escape key will shut Lance up in a hurry. The action in Mega Race takes place
We
on
could have
16
streamed Mega
different
Race before, and I
virtual
completely
racetracks in
forgot
5
about
different
it.
cities. You leave and race through transparent tubes in Atlantis.
He does
Even
look
laid-back
like
future
a
types would get a little nervous
a
when the racetrack right
half-baked
outside
Colin
their door.
Mockery.
That's why everything here is virtual
I
reality.
have a high cheese
because plain
threshold, thank
reality
you. I
sucks.
love cheese.
Another bonus to virtual tracks is that they don't have to
My
conform
stomach
to the laws
doesn't,
of
but
physics.
my,
Impossibly banked turns and corkscrews and
other
other
parts
effects
of
will make
me
sure you
does.
don't confuse Mega Race with boring terrestrial games. You start out with a choice of 3 cars with varying speed, armor, and weapons. Each
These
time you
cars
kill a
look
speed
like the
gang
cars
boss
you
and win the
see
race, you're also
in
given his
downtown
custom
Austin,
car to
where you're
choose
like,
from.
that
While
person
this
must
is a nice
be
feature,
the
it would have been even
CEO
nicer if
of
the
the
manual
world's
told you
most
what all this meant.
bonkers
Although
tech
it's easy to
company.
figure out the difference between
Sorry,
a
I never
lightly
mentioned
armored
it,
car
but
and a heavily
the
armored
Central
car.
Library
There's no
is
clue as
by
to how the engine
the only
types
piece of
differ in
road
performance.
that
When I
connects
got down to
the
the
rich
actual
part of
racing,
Austin
I
with
was
the rest
disappointed
of
at first.
Austin.
It's pretty basic
Cesar
here,
Chavez,
and
it
at
connects
first it
Cesar
didn't
Chavez
seem too
to
interesting.
Tarrytown and like
As you
Westlake and
race,
whatever.
you keep an
If
eye
you
out for
sit at the
symbols
bus
on the
stop there,
tracks
you
to
get to see
either
all
run
kinds of
over
weird
or
cars
avoid.
go by.
Some do
And once
things
in a
like use a
while,
burst of
a
speed
car
or
will
add
go
power to
by
your
with
weapons,
like
while others
a
slam on the brakes
bonkers
and
car
make you
with
spin
like the
out.
most
That's nice,
girl
but it
boss
doesn't make a
person
great
in
game.
it, and I am
Then
just
played
like,
some of the
I want to
next
know what your
tracks and
CEO
began to
of.
have
I
a
gotta
little
know.
respect. In order to catch up to the bad guys and blow them away, you'll
I
have
have
to
seen a
master the
Cybertruck.
tracks, and
I
it's
did see a
simple.
Cybertruck.
Simple and arcadish, but
Unfortunately,
fun.
it was in my own
Although the
neighborhood,
racing
which is
definitely grows
scary
on you
because
after
it's
a few
just like,
tracks, the
what
combat still
if?
leaves
What if
much
a
to be
Cybertruck
desired.
is driving
Engaging
and
the
it
speed
sees
gangs
me?
in combat is
It's gonna
basically
eat
limited to
me.
pulling up behind them and shooting them until they die. If you run out of weapons energy, you have
I'm
to
not.
pull
I'm
them
not
off
lying. When
and
I
ram
was
them
in a
into the
car
wall.
when I saw the Cybertruck, so I was
Unfortunately,
safe.
they act like target
But
drones,
like,
rarely
I felt
taking
like
evasive
my heart.
action.
I felt my
I was
gut
hoping
drops.
some of
Like,
them
oh
would
no! Like
slam on
I
the
somehow
brakes
thought it
and
was
slide
just gonna
behind
like
you with guns
jump the
blazing.
median
It
and
never
crash
happened.
into me
You've obviously
somehow.
never driven in L.A.
We'll be right back after these messages.
If
Oh,
you
they
are
got a
looking for
recall. Okay,
fast-paced
yeah,
game with some
good.
serious graphics and gameplay like you can only get in the arcades, look no further. Raptor is here. Check out the shareware version of Raptor in the main menu under Install Demos.
Okay.
Forget reading. Subscribe to IE. 12 episodes, only $59. Call now.
Don't call that
And
number. It's
now,
probably
back
porn.
to the action. It seems a safe bet to say that any CD-based game is going to come complete with many megabytes of animated cutscenes to amaze and astound the buyer. In this area, Mega Race delivers mightily and exceeds most of the other games out there. Although only in 320 by 200 mode, the cutscenes are spectacular. Your viewpoint floats along and shifts with extremely fluid animation. The jaded producers of this
Yeah,
game
there's
must have
something
locked
about the
its imagined artists in a room
Cybertruck
with a
that's
copy
really
of 3D
repellent.
Studio
Like, you
and
see it
said,
and you want to
"We're
go
not
away
letting
from
you
it.
out
It's
until
so
you
weird.
really
It's
impress
like
us."
you're a magnet and it's like
Don't
opposite
expect an involved
polarities where you're pushing
simulation
each
from
other
Mega
away
Race
or
even
whatever.
a highly detailed arcade game. It's a simple game that's easy to learn and takes up almost no hard drive space. It's good, light entertainment that never pretends to be anything else. Think of it as a candy bar for your CD drive. If you found IndyCar racing
Don't put a candy bar on your CD drive.
to be extreme overkill, give Mega Race a try. It's the only racing game I know of where you can blow someone up on an underwater corkscrew.
Okay. Let's
Mega-
hear the second opinion on this.
It's good to see that someone is starting to push home PCs to their full potential, graphically that is. The graphics in this game are just unbelievable, and the concept is a good one.
God,
It
I
would
remember
be
the
great to see
Pontiac
more of this type of
Aztec
game on
ass
the PC.
nasty car.
But in order
Sorry,
for Mega
that's
Race
a-
to actually be a fun game,
I kind
it
of
would
love
need
how
to have a
ugly
lot
the
more
Aztec
speed and a
is.
lot
It's
more
like, I
action.
love
So
ugly
for now,
cars,
in
which
my
is why the
book, it's just
Cybertruck,
another
I should
boring
love
race
it,
to
but
see.
it's dangerous and ugly, not just ugly. I word of the pros.
Mega Race is a nice, simple game for those of you looking for immediate arcade gratification from your CD-ROM. It has nice graphics, amazing animations, and the cheesiest game show host in the history of television, interactive or not. Mega Race is a very simple game and can be disappointing if you come into it with lofty expectations. Also, the combat during the races is very one-sided, since all you have to do is catch up to someone and blow them to bits from behind. Opponents that fought back aggressively would have made this game much better.
Okay. And what else should we try? Crash and Burn, Death Race, and Cyber Race. I've not heard of Cyber Race. I assume it's a race that's cyber. All right. It's time for Myst. You ever hear of this one?
Have you ever become so involved in a book that it seems almost as if you've been transported into another world? In Myst, a graphic adventure game designed by Cyan and published by Broderbund, you will be. Myst is a graphic adventure set in a world that can almost reflect the mind of Salvador Dali. The developers of the game spent 2 years creating a world
I
filled
do
with
prefer
breathtaking
Pissed,
scenery
sorry.
and mind-boggling puzzles. The music and sound give Myst an almost lifelike
No, shout
quality.
out to Myst
Overall,
lovers.
I found
Y'all
Myst
are
to be
great.
tranquil and relaxing
Y'all
to
are,
explore.
I like,
A welcome
Myst is
contrast
one of
to
those
the
things where I
traditional
really want to
post-modern
like it, but
arcade
I
game.
bounce right off
The
of it,
primary
and I don't
objective
think
of
it's the
Myst is
game's
to find
fault.
the
I
pages
think
of two
my
enchanted
brain
books.
is just not
The books
capable of
themselves
handling
imprison
Myst.
two brothers
But I
who can
like
only
it
be freed by
conceptually. I think
collecting
it's
all
really
the
cool
missing pages.
conceptually.
These pages are certainly not easy to find, as the vermin responsible for imprisoning the two brothers has scattered them across
Yeah,
several
yeah, I don't
different
like playing
worlds.
Myst, but the
You'll have
vibe
to
of it
travel
is
to
really
these worlds,
good,
as
and I
well as
really
solve
like
some
experimental
brain-damaging puzzles to
multimedia
complete your
things,
quest.
so, you know.
Like many graphic adventure games, Myst uses a basic point-and-click interface. However, Myst's controls are definitely at the low end of the complexity spectrum. There aren't any specific commands. Click on part of the screen and the result is determined by what you're clicking on. Nor are there zillions of objects to manage. You can only carry one object at a time, and the only objects you can move are book pages. You won't miss either of these features, however, as the game is complex enough without them. The majority of Myst's puzzles can be solved logically.
That's
Many
just
people
a-
tend to shy away from adventure games due to the absurdity of the puzzles involved.
That's
if
a
you've
weird
ever had to do
pool.
a handstand on the back of a giant rabbit
That's
while
a
juggling
weird
magic
pool.
swords to save the princess, you'll understand. Kiss this problem goodbye in Myst. Logic is the key. Myst is presented in a first-person
doctor's
view.
chair
When
for,
moving,
like,
there's
the
no scrolling
dentist.
whatsoever. You simply point, click, and you're there. An especially nice innovation allows you to quickly jump across several screens to return to a location you've already visited. One minor niggle, though, is that it isn't always easy to identify where you can and can't go. Click everywhere to make sure that you explore the island thoroughly.
Yeah, that's
The manual that
annoying.
accompanies Myst offers little information on the world you will explore. However, it doesn't take long before you stumble upon the library.
Yeah,
This is by
let's
far the most
all go
important
to
place on the
Channelwood.
island, since it contains information that will help you solve many puzzles that you will encounter. The island of Myst isn't the only place to explore. There are 4 places of protection as well. Each place of protection has its own motif. I found it exciting to explore each new world, and even more exciting was just to find one, as they are never easy
I
to
didn't have a
find.
computer that could run
Clues are
Myst, so I
everywhere.
was not
Myst
into
comes with
Myst.
a journal
When
to
I got
help
a
you
computer
track
that can
things
run
you may
Myst,
find
Myst
odd
was
or
already
intriguing,
like,
and you'll need it. Clues will come in
not
many
super old,
forms.
but
Books,
old.
fragments of pages, and even the
So I
land
was
may give you the
never,
answers to
I
the
never played
puzzles you
Myst when it was
face.
contemporary. Only
Myst
later in my
uses
life.
video
Cool
sparingly
skull.
to enhance gameplay.
Maybe
And to
Myst
my
is
complete
cool.
surprise,
Okay.
it actually does enhance gameplay. Video clips are limited to recorded warning messages and desperate pleas of the brothers trapped within the enchanted books. As much as I rave about Myst, it does have its flaws. The music will occasionally cut out briefly, and transitions between scenes sometimes are excessively long. The
That
worst
is
problem,
true.
however, is
I
that the
don't
game
like
will
how long it takes to
occasionally
go
lock up
places in
without
Myst.
warning. Suggested solutions include disabling all other programs running in Windows, making sure you are running the most current sound and video drivers, and saving often. Even though Myst does have a few technical difficulties, I recommend it with no reservations. I can't imagine that very many people will dislike it. It's even a good game to play with your friends who don't play computer games.
No, it's not. But I respect you
How-
saying that, though. That's a second
Thank
opinion.
goodness Myst came along to tide me over until 11th hour. Without a doubt, it's the best puzzle game I've ever seen. Even if you don't like adventure games, you owe it to yourself to take a look at Myst. Its graphic beauty will knock the eyes right out of your head.
Right? What are the pros?
Myst features graphics which are absolutely stunning. The puzzles are also innovative and original. The lightning bolt icon, which lets you skip several scenes if you've already seen them, is a wonderful idea.
What are the cons?
While very original, some of the puzzles were pretty obscure.
That's
I
true.
had to have a musically gifted friend help me solve the organ puzzle, for example, even though I already knew the solution.
And if we like Myst, what else should we try? 7th guest, 11th hour. Return to Zork! Okay.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Lord British?
Doom has
Oh,
been
it's
this
just
year's
Doom.
biggest game by far. You've heard the gruesome stories and you've read the long articles. Now check it out for yourself with the Doom 1.2 shareware
Return to
version
Zork was
in
an
the main menu under
FMV
Install
Zork
Demos.
game.
If you're looking for a fast-paced game with some
Raptor
serious
again.
graphics and gameplay like you can only get in the arcades, look no further. Raptor is here. Check out the shareware version of Raptor in the main menu under Install Demos.
We now return you to the show.
You think they'll like NBA Jam?
One of the biggest arcade sports games of all time is finally playing in a home system near you. That's right, NBA Jam for the Super Nintendo and Genesis are here. Whichever system you're a fan of, you have a choice, since unlike many titles, NBA Jam was released simultaneously for both platforms. The big dilemma for most people is, which one is better? Are the graphics better on the Super Nintendo?
Oh, is that Doom
Is the gameplay
screenshot
better on
from the beta
Genesis?
build? That's
Does
cool.
the Super Nintendo slow down at all? Which one has the better sound? Let's take a look and see.
Okay.
When you first turn on the two game systems, they're virtually identical. This is the Super Nintendo version, and this is the Genesis version. Other than the Super Nintendo version being a tiny bit crisper, both versions are the same. That's pretty much the story for the whole game. It doesn't matter which version you get, they're both great. The Genesis does seem to have an edge in speed, while the graphics and sound seem a little better on the Super Nintendo. On the downside, NBA Jam is missing
I would like
some
them
of
to
the most
shoot
celebrated
kibble
players
in
basketball.
Doom. I'd
Maybe
also like
because
Doom
they
if
all
you
seem
played
to
as a
have their own
cat.
games. Despite
I
this,
like
the
it.
game
I like it
definitely
normally,
has
but
enough
you know
main
they could
players
do.
to
They
keep
could
me
always improve it.
satisfied. On the whole, this game is extremely close to its arcade counterpart. The gameplay for both versions is excellent, allowing your player to do whatever your little heart desires. And for the ultimate experience, grab 3 of your basketball buddies and jam it together. This is definitely the ultimate.
Gonna
party.
grab 3 of your basketball buddies.
There are a few little
I
extra
have
goodies in this game that you don't
0
see in other
basketball buddies.
games. The dish-off maneuver, for one, and the turbo boost is a great idea. I even like the fact that you stay one player while the computer keeps track of the other. And of course, those hot streaks are great. Look, I'm in a zone. One large mistake on the Super Nintendo version is the omission of a save game feature. Instead, you
Boo.
have to keep track of a very long password. In my opinion, this should be a thing of the past. Score 1 for the Genesis version. The setup of the game is extremely simple. You pick your team, represented by 2 of its top players, then play against as many other teams as you can beat. No seasons and no 5-man teams, just 2-on-2 hoops. But who cares? It's still great.
I know
Just the
they
thrill of
moved there,
throwing a
but the
few
Utah
down in the face
Jazz
of the
still makes me
competition is
laugh.
enough to
I'm
hook me on
sorry.
this game.
There is.
And if you're
I'm
worried about
sure
which
there are
version to
people who do
purchase,
jazz
don't
in
worry,
Utah,
you
but
can't
when I
really
think
go
of
wrong.
Utah,
Though
I do
must
not
say
think
I
of
prefer the
jazz.
Genesis
I think
version
of
a little
like,
bit more
if you
because
told
of
me
the
what
same
state
game.
was the negative
Overall,
inverse of
NBA
jazz, I
Jam
would
for
tell
both
you
systems
Utah.
is
Utah is
fantastic.
like not normal, and only normal places have jazz. Good
One of the
pros and
biggest
cons
arcade
here.
sports games.
If you thought NBA Jam was big in the arcades, wait till you get a look at the home version. It's on a smaller screen, but both the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions of the hottest game around have the same eye-catching graphics and great player moves of the original. Actually, the home game's more versatile because you can set up the game to your liking. It's a hard game to find right now, but NBA Jam is well worth the wait.
Yeah, okay, so I haven't mentioned this, but I am kind of obsessed with Utah lately, only because YouTube Shorts keeps showing me news from this local news channel in Utah, and all the news is just so bonkers. I know a news near, obviously I live in Texas, so I'm used to wild news, but it's just like, I'm just like, Utah, are you okay? I mean, like I said, I'm from Texas, so it's not like I can say anything, but everything I learned about Utah is just like, wow. I'm not going there.
Both the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions of NBA Jam are great conversions from the arcade.
Utah
The
is
graphics are
even
great,
having
the
theme
jumps are
park
great,
drama.
the
It's
gameplay and
wild.
strategy is first rate, and of course, 4-player mode is just awesome. There's no Jordan or Shaq or Barkley on NBA Jam. The password feature on the Super Nintendo
Wait,
bites.
really?
The whole system of playing each team could have been done much better, but overall, there aren't a whole lot of things to complain about.
Utah had one theme park, no rides. It was like a role-playing park with it was called Evermore. It's a role-playing park with a you would go and it was really weird. I recommend looking up there's like a 2-hour video of it by on YouTube. And then anyways, long story short, theme park just kept running out of money more and more, and then they just Jenny Nicholson did the video on Evermore Park. I really recommend it. It's really wild, and it doesn't even include all the bankruptcy drama they had. Let's also try NBA Showdown, NBA All-Star Challenge, and Shut Up and Jam. I will try those. Actually, no, I won't. Prehistoria,
Having Grolier's Prehistoria on CD-ROM around the house
Ooh,
is a lot like
multimedia.
living next door to a museum. You don't spend a lot of time there, but it's a cool place to take a visiting friend. You're likely to purchase Prehistoria as a reference tool, but you might be surprised at how much you enjoy browsing through it the first time you use it.
Yeah.
During this release is a multimedia who's who of prehistoric life. Grolier took care to fill it with useful information about ancient times. They also came up with a visually appealing graphics package and made sure that the application was easy to navigate.
This looks good, but I gotta say, Microsoft blows all the other multimedia stuff out of the water. Sorry, Groliers. You're good, but you're no Microsoft Home.
Working within Prehistoria is extremely easy. The first menu is called Features, which gives you access to the
I like
main
that this has
categories.
12
You can always
slides,
return to this
while
main menu
NBA
by
Jam
clicking on
only
the
had
features
like
icon
10
at
or
the bottom
so.
of the screen.
I like that they're putting
We'll
way
be
more
right
effort
back.
into this multimedia
Microprose
title.
has done it again.
There's the Wide
This
Boys of
time it's
XCOM.
Their newest strategy game featuring tactical level
XCOM,
combat.
you must be
Look under
this
the
wide to
install demo
play.
section of the main menu. From the creators of Populous comes Theme Park. If you've ever wanted to manage an amusement park, this is your
I
chance.
do want to manage
Check
an
out the
amusement
demo
park.
under Install Demos
I
at
want
the
it
main
to be
menu.
a role-playing park, and I want it to have no
Now, back to
rides,
interactive
and
entertainment.
actually it would have a
If
train.
you're not researching a specific subject,
And that's
the
it.
best place to begin in Prehistoria is
We
the
would be
Grolier
role-playing
Museum. This is a great
as
deal of text
not
and video on
elves. That's
general
overdone.
issues, including the rise and fall of dinosaurs, fossils, and prehistoric.
We will be role-playing America 1991. America 1991. That's what we're role-playing as.
Much of this section concerns dinosaurs, which will
Maybe
probably
92
appeal
if you're
greatly to
feeling
your
really
children.
adventurous.
However, the most useful section of the Grolier Museum may be the Where to Go Next option. This includes a bibliography of books on prehistoric life and a list of museums around the world that have fossil collections. The rest of Prehistoria is made up mostly of traditional reference material. In the
Aspid and
gallery, you begin
snout.
with a list of groups of prehistoric animals, then move further and further along until you can select an individual species. Once you're at that point, you are given information on when and where the animal
I was going to
lived
say
and how
Texas
big it
needs a new
was.
theme
By
park, but we're
clicking on
getting
the
like
speaker, you can hear the proper
we're
pronunciation
getting a
of the
Universal
You can
Studios
click the
for
text
kids in
icon
Dallas,
and
so
go on
I
the
can't
website, giving all the
complain.
pertinent reference material on the animal. All still information in Prehistoria can be easily printed by going to the upper left-hand corner of the screen and pulling down the print command. You can also save the information to your own file. The time tracker section allows you to see when animals lived. By
Okay,
selecting
this
a
is
time
pretty
period,
cool.
an
I
animal,
want to know about the
and hit
mammal-like
search, you can
reptiles.
get a full list
That's
of
me.
animals
I'm a
that
mammal-like
lived in that
reptile.
particular area at the time. Each time period has a map that shows what the world looked like during the time selected. You can call up the search function from the main features menu and compile as broad or as narrow a list as you wish of certain animals.
They are
in
just
certain
going
time
all
periods.
through this disc. This is
Classification.
amazing. They really are
Prehistoria's family
They are
tree,
really going
showing
in
each
depth.
animal's class, order, and family. It also gives the meaning of each creature's name. The Creature Show is a quick tour through all of the animals in Prehistoria. You can run this feature at your own pace, and you can start and stop it at will. However, it does not allow you to access the same range of information as in the gallery section. Prehistoria isn't for everybody, but it wasn't meant to be. The CD-ROM format is perfect for use as a reference tool, and Grolier's designers have done an outstanding job of putting together a package that is easy to use. Who knows? The reluctant student around your house may actually enjoy doing research.
All right. What's the second opinion?
It's a shame that the video portion of Prehistoria was so poor because it's an element that could have added a lot to this product. While the graphics in this release were well done, it needed some help. More video, in a format easier to watch than the mini screens presented, would have made Prehistoria a lot more fun to browse through.
That's fair. That is a problem with multimedia, is the quality of the video.
Grolier's Prehistoria has clear, sharp illustrations and maps. The CD-ROM format is also extremely easy to move around in. Videos are included in Grolier's Prehistoria, but they are not the greatest quality in the world. They look even worse than they actually are, alongside the fine job done with the graphics portion.
And what else should we get if we like that? Microsoft Dinosaurs and just the concept of multimedia encyclopedias. They're like, I don't know, just try multimedia encyclopedias. You like that, right? And I'm like, I do, but... Righteous Fire. Y'all ever heard of this?
Righteous Fire is the first add-on mission disc for Privateer. It does rekindle interest in the game, but only for a short while. The good thing is that this new disc includes a strong
Thank
plot
you,
that will
Hojo
grant you
Akira, for
and pull you
following. I
into space
appreciate it.
mystery. The bad thing is that the missions themselves are most non-righteous, Evil Ted. Righteous Fire starts a year after the conclusion of the Privateer plot. You are taking an extended vacation on the pleasure planet Jolson when you are informed by this rust bucket that your Steltec gun, the super weapon you got...
Yeah,
for completing
very
the original
wide,
plot, has
very
been
wide
stolen
dude
from your
there.
ship.
Like,
Now you're in the mood to kick ass, but whose ass do you kick? And where is it? The manual could have told you where to go to begin the plot, but it didn't. It would have been nice even if the bartender on Jolson had a clue, but no. It's easy enough to figure out, but why did Origin make me fly around gathering hints? This is not Ultima 42, and I didn't like being treated like an adventure gamer. Although the plot doesn't really start until you get to Oxford, a stopover at Perry Naval Base will allow you to fly some fairly profitable missions for the Confed Navy. And
Fairly
will also
profitable.
let you hear about one of the key figures of the plot. Governor
Oop,
Menace
gotta grab
has been
something
a
real
bad
quick.
boy.
Be right
It
back,
seems
folks.
he's played with some kittens he shouldn't have, and now the Confederation wants to dole out large quantities of cannon fire upon his personage. It's a dirty world, but you'll do anything for a buck. Really getting into the plot will require flying some missions for Oxford's chief librarian. Apparently, he knows someone who knows something, but to get him to set up a meeting with his friend, you'll have to do some work for him. It's no surprise that these missions are all combat intensive, and here's where the game starts to fall apart. The ship you're likely to be flying is so superior to those of your enemies that most of the combat in Righteous Fire is far from challenging. You'll rarely hear me say this about a game, but it should have been harder. There are a few new toys to spend your money on, not that you really need any of them. Fusion cannons are the strongest guns in the game and rip armor to shreds.
I'm back. Thank
Gun
you for
throwers
waiting.
increase the
Ooh,
speed at
I
which
like
you
the
can fire.
Blomby style
Shield
of that
regenerators
vehicle.
are aptly named since they make your shields regenerate faster. Speed enhancers give you an extra 85 kilometers per hour to play with, like you really needed it. Thrust enhancers allow you to accelerate to maximum speed faster. Isometal armor is significantly tougher than any other armor on the market.
Uh-huh.
The advanced repair droid does the same thing the old droid did, only faster. It still won't repair your weapons or armor. A few of these items are good investments, but many are just extraneous trinkets to spend your money on. The inclusion of more interesting items... and
Again,
maybe
this
a
only
new
has
ship
10
coverage would
slides,
have
while
made this a
the
more
Growlier's
worthwhile
Encyclopedia had
And
12.
now
I
for a
love
word
this.
From our sponsors.
Lord British. I want Lord British again.
Forget reading. Subscribe to IE.
Okay.
12 episodes, only
I will
$59.
forget reading.
Call
Fuck reading.
now. From the creators of Populous comes Theme Park. If
You
ever
know,
wanted
the
to
last
manage an
book I
amusement park,
read, or I
this is
tried to
your
read,
chance.
I started
Check
the
out
first
demo
Warrior
under
Cats
Install
book.
Demos at the main menu.
I want to get more into Warrior
We now
Cats,
return you to the show.
but they have a lot
After
of drama
abusing the
going on in
eggheads
their
at
lives.
Oxford, you will get to meet Monty, a man who has quietly built a reputation as an information dealer in Gemini. He knows plenty, including that you have made it onto the Retro's A1 party list, but don't expect him to just spill his guts to you. Like everyone else in this game, Monty wants to make use of your particular talent, namely making large holes in other people's ships. Shut up and do as you're told, because Monty definitely knows what's going on.
He's
As you
also
make your way
wide.
around Gemini, you'll come into contact with a new
Were we
kind
just
of
wider
ship.
in the
Naturally,
90s?
it will
Like,
make
were we
its
like
presence
wide
known to you
mode?
by hurling large bolts of destructiveness at you. Your
I
targeting
think I
system
was
can
wider.
identify it, and
What?
when you try to hail the
Oh,
target, you
I
get no
know,
response.
because we were like in the...
Let's see here.
See,
It looks
see,
like
back
a
in the 90s, we were
Pulaski
all in the
and
wrong
flies
aspect
like a
ratio
retro.
due to,
What's going
you
on
know,
here? Monty thinks
due
you're
to
in
the way
grave
the TDs
danger,
used to be.
but
But
I
when they
think Monty
introduced
just needs to
HD,
have
all
more
of
fun in life.
humanity
That's
became
the real
normal.
problem with
We
Righteous
stopped being
Fire.
so
You're
wide.
never
Yeah,
really
different
in a
aspect
lot of
ratio.
danger. You can be killed, but unless you're letting your grandma fly for you, it's not going to happen much.
I'm not letting Grandma
I
fly.
like to fly around and kill things. But when it's this easy, I start to think of the more important things I should be doing, like laundry. When a game makes you daydream of household chores, something's wrong, folks. Remember when I told you
I've
to put
done
up with
that.
Monty's demands? Well,
I
turns
have
out you knew
actually,
where Menace was
I
hiding
have,
out.
I've put off
Governor
playing a
Bad
game to
Guy
do
stole your
chores.
gun all right, and probably sold it to the highest bidder. This is one of the key confrontations in the game, and as such, it's yet another disappointment. You guessed it, another easy battle. Righteous Fire isn't a
Yeah, we
bad
got less
add-on
wide
by
'cause
any
of
means. It's
inflation.
just far too easy. The plot is its strongest point. It was good enough to make me put up with swatting down way
I
lots
like
of
the
waves of space
eyeball.
mosquitoes to see its resolution.
That is sick.
Origin needs to realize that a decent pilot and a well-outfitted Centurion can take down anything in the original game with ease. I'm looking forward to the next mission disc for Privateer, and I can only hope that it'll be more of a challenge than this one. And I wouldn't mind if they gave me a new ship to play around with either. Righteous
Second opinion.
Righteous Fire brought it all back for me. The high G turns, the snap rolls, dumping gigajoules of power on unwitting pirates and retros. Then it brings back a few other things. Having kabillions of credits and no place to spend them, fighting a bunch of woefully undangerous opponents. Ah, well. What I'd really like to see in an expansion for this series is a way to make some really big bucks. Say by running a fleet of trading ships, allowing me to jump into individual
I want to
ships
make
and
big
fight when
bucks with
necessary. Maybe in Privateer 2?
Righteous Fire. All right, what are the pros?
Righteous Fire has a good, strong plot. You start off looking for the thief who ripped you off and end up involved in a conspiracy that threatens all of Gemini's sector. It also offers a couple
Star
of new toys
Citizen
to
ever
spend that
come out?
hard-earned cash on.
Is that still going on? Or is that still happening?
None of the new characters you talk to have digitized speech, only irritating text captions.
God.
The combat in this disc is far too easy since your ship is still the toughest thing out there by far. I'd like to see Origin introduce at least one new ship type before this series is over.
I think that instead of spending your money on Star Citizen, people should just buy Laserdiscs instead. That's what I'm doing. Okay, if you like this, you should try Elite Plus X-Wing and the Wing Commander series. Do not try Star Citizen. That is a waste of your money. Let's try Raid.
Raiden is the first
Raiden.
arcade conversion to be ported over to the Atari Jaguar and will likely undergo close scrutiny. Raiden doesn't showcase the potential of the Jaguar like Trevor McFur does, but is a
Sorry.
much better game. As a harbinger of things to come, Raiden is a good omen for Atari's new 64-bit game system.
Is it?
Making good use of your limited supply of bombs is essential to your survival in Raiden. Powerful aliens firing at you can quickly leave you with no place to run to, and bombs not only kill ships, but also destroy their missiles. It's a simple philosophy. Nuke them before they nuke you.
Nuke
The
or be
battlefield
nuked?
in Raiden ranges over land, sea, and space. Aliens attack you from both ground and air. In areas where you are up against heavy concentrations of airborne craft, it's important to dodge. Although you can pass safely over land-based attackers, a collision with a flying bogey will bring you a quick death.
Yeah,
Your extra lives go quickly.
what is that
So
HUD,
sailor.
man?
What would a fast-action white-knuckle shooter be without gigantic bosses hurling great wads of death at you? Well, it wouldn't be Raiden, that's for sure. Each of Raiden's 8 levels comes complete with a nasty end boss designed to rid you of those cumbersome extra lives. Bomb them unmercifully if you want to survive. Also, some bosses have a hole in their missile spread that allows you to sit in one position and fire from relative safety. Use this to your advantage,
Okay.
but don't get too smug. Increase your firepower by collecting
Listen, if I'm
floating
playing a
power-ups if you
shmup,
wanna
I'm not
survive.
getting smug.
The odds are stacked heavily against you
These
in
games
Raiden,
are my
and
enemy.
getting bigger guns to fight with is essential to overcoming the alien invaders. A good spread of fire across the screen can definitely turn things to your favor.
Yeah, look at how good I am
Be
at this
wary,
game. I'm
though,
really
for getting
talented.
too greedy and dashing around the screen chasing power-ups.
Okay,
is a great way
instead
to
of
get
spending
yourself
48,000 in Star Citizen, you
One
can
of the
get
best
so many
features of
Laserdiscs
Raiden
for that.
is
Oh
the
my
simultaneous
god.
two-player mode.
There's literally a
If you're feeling
Laserdisc
a
lot
little
on sale
overwhelmed,
on
let
eBay
a
right
friend
now,
lend you some additional
$1,000, and you can
firepower.
get like
At the
an
beginning
entire
of the game, you
warehouse
have limited
of
offenses,
Laserdiscs.
lining up one behind the other and firing into the leader's jet stream
Because
produces
unlike
a spray of missiles.
Unlike in Star
However,
Citizen,
this
Laserdiscs are
pales in
real.
comparison to
You
the
can touch
rampant
them
carnage
with your
that can be
fingers.
obtained by two fighters with heavy firepower
See ya, Kaboom.
flying alongside
But yeah, you
one another.
like
Raiden is possibly the best arcade conversion I've ever seen for a cartridge system. The graphics may not be as hot as Trevor McFur's, but it reproduces the arcade game down to the last detail. If Raiden is any indication, the Atari Jaguar appears to be the home system for arcade conversions. With more titles like Raiden,
no, get the
future
Laserdisc all
of home
dirty.
video game
Just
systems
spread
will
mud all
belong
over
to
it. Just
64-bit
toss it in a
machines.
dirt pit.
And the Jaguar seems capable of standing at the top of the heap.
We'll be right back.
Magic Candle was one of the best role-playing
Yeah,
games
they
of its
really
time.
like Trevor
It has a
McFur. What the
fantastic plot
hell?
And gameplay that'll make you think you're
Trevor
playing a real
McFur
pencil
was
and
just
paper game on
okay,
your
but
computer.
it was just
Look in the
okay.
main menu under Install Demos for the complete game, or check out our article under the Features section in the main menu. Dynamics has long been a maker of great games. One of their latest creations,
they?
Front Page Sports Baseball, is on its way. For a sneak preview, select Features at the main menu, or Previews in the table of contents.
And now, back to the action.
See this pros.
Raiden is the
No,
first
no, no.
arcade
We want the second
This
opinion.
is definitely the best home version of Raiden, but it doesn't really impress me much.
Really?
The graphics are nice, but the Jaguar could be so much more. If you finish the game, you just start over, and it doesn't even get any harder the second time around. It's good, but I hope the Jaguar gets better games than this soon.
Oof.
Raiden is identical
Welcome,
to the
Juan.
arcade game in virtually every way. It's fast-paced, challenging, and instantly addictive. Although not a true test of the Jaguar's capabilities, it illustrates that the Jag is one hot system for future arcade conversions.
The Jag is one hot system. You heard it here first.
There's not much bad to say about Raiden. The graphics and sound are not the best that Jaguar can offer, but they are faithful to the arcade version. Some people complain you can't hold down a button and get auto-fire, but the arcade game didn't have auto-fire either.
Yeah.
An option to
Don't
toggle
complain.
auto-fire on or off would have shut those lightweights up, but I didn't find it to detract from the game.
All right, and we should also try Raptor, which is I think the next game we're gonna see. Twin Cobra and Viewpoint. Okay, I guess I agree with that. Let's see Raptor.
For years now, certain annoying people have insisted that PCs are lousy machines for action games and that Super NES and Genesis rule. Once again, here
Certain
comes
annoying
Apogee to
people.
tell
I think
everyone
that might
else
be my
where to step their
spouse.
opinion. Raptor is the latest release from these shareware gods, and if you thought your PC could never play a scrolling shooter as well as a Super No Friendo, think again, Miss.
I'm just saying.
There's not much subtlety in Raptor. The gameplay goes like this.
I'm not saying.
You're in this
I'm
plane
just
with guns.
saying,
Other
you
planes
hate
with guns
PC
come toward you
games,
and try to make
and
you
you're
dead.
not.
You're supposed to dodge their gunfire and make them choke on yours. There are ground targets too. Some of the
Super
ground
no
targets shoot back at you,
friendo.
and if they hit you, you'll hurt. Get the idea? Good. Now strap yourself down, because what Raptor lacks in depth, it more than makes up for in action. Instead of receiving a score for the damage you do, you get money. Between waves of hostile badness, you'll have a chance to visit the supply room and purchase more energy and better weapons. All the better to kill you with, my dear. One of the best purchases is a phase shield, which absorbs enemy gunfire before it hits your armor. If you can
Super
collect
no
enough money,
friendo.
advanced weapons like the auto-track minigun will truly make your life worth living. Is that a volcano in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Knock it
All
off.
seriousness aside, Raptor has some of the hottest graphics I've ever seen in a shareware game, and blows away some commercial games too. probably the best graphical feature in this game is the inclusion of shadows, which give you advance warning of approaching death machines. For a real challenge, playing the game in low resolution will turn off the shadows. And let's not forget the awesome destructive power of the seldom seen but universally dreaded Battle Cow. If you plan to take on the upper levels of this
Listen,
game,
I'm not saying I don't like action games on the PC
Fine
either. I'm
weapons
not
with
saying you're
suppliers and
wrong.
put
This
some
is why I'm into
serious strain on your
multimedia.
finances, but there's a way around this. Occasionally, you'll see a ground or air target that will give you a bonus to collect. These can range from extra money to megabombs, also known as the panic button, to missile packages. If you think this sounds a lot like the arcade and home system game Raiden, you're absolutely right. Raptor isn't terribly original, but what it recycles very well. If you like a good
Game's a
scrolling
rip-off,
shooter,
but it
you're
rips
bound
off
to lose
really
your
well.
cookies over Raptor. Apogee has created another shareware superstar, which should hardly come as a surprise. The graphics will amaze you, the sound will astound you, and the action will melt your fingers to your keyboard. The next time some
okay.
cartridge game geek starts spouting off about the great new shooter he just paid $50 or $60 for, pull up Raptor and say, hey, I got this for next to nothing. So kiss my bits.
Annie, next time you're complaining about PC games, I'm going to tell you to kiss my bits.
For years.
What's the second opinion?
Yet another entry in a long line of basic fly and shoot games. It's a waste of time to develop games for the PC that you can find in the video arcade of any mall anywhere across the country.
Wow. What are the pros?
Great graphics and sound, very smooth scrolling, user-definable keyboard controls, support of Gravis gamepad, and plays as well or better than shooters for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis systems. Best of all, the shareware version of this game can be installed from the very disc currently in your CD drive.
Ooh. What are the cons?
More than one save game per player would be a nice improvement. Also, the menu screens you have to go through to get into it are irritating. What is this, Wing Commander? I want to shoot things already.
You greenhouse ghost for the follow. Enjoy your owl. Oh, I hit my follower goal. Hooray! I hit 300. Thank you, everybody. Oh, boy. 300 of you want to know about the wacky world of Raptor. We should also play Raiden. Done. Back to the reviews. It's time for AD&D Ravenloft.
With SSI and TSR parting ways, Ravenloft
Look
will
at
be one
how
of the last
smug Drac
AD&D
is.
products from that
Thank you for the
partnership.
you did it.
Good. It's obvious that SSI hasn't learned much since the Gold Box Age. I wanted to like Ravenloft, and I thought a change of locale might do the AD&D series good. But SSI keeps coming out with these half-good games, and this one is no exception.
I agree that it's
Half
about time
good.
SSI and TSR are split. During the entire history of their partnership, I've thought that TSR's pencil and paper games have had a poor representation in the computer gaming world. I thought Eye of the Beholder was good, but that's it.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Dynamics has long been a maker of great games. One of their
Any
latest
Ravenloft
creations,
freaks in
Front
the
Page
house?
Sports
I like
Baseball,
Dracula.
is
I
on
like
its
the
way.
idea that there's
For
a big
sneak
Dracula
preview,
looking at
select
me.
features at the main menu.
That's what
or
I want
previews in the
I
table of
like
contents.
Castlevania. I just don't like playing it. I like that there's a
You've
big
seen his games,
Dracula.
You've played out his fantasies. Now listen to what he has to say. Lord British talks to IE. Check it out under the features section in the main menu or the interactive interview section in the table of contents.
And now, back to interactive entertainment.
You can tell that SSI is trying to improve their games just
Epi
based on the amount of
Epperman?
new stuff used here and there. Ravenloft has a little bit of everything, from the interaction of Eye of
Epi
the Beholder to the ultimate
Epperman.
underworld graphics and interface. They've struggled to create the perfect adventure role-playing game, but they still have a ways to go.
Yeah, Ravenloft does seem like sort of a hodgepodge of features from other games.
Epi
It's like
Epperman.
SSI said, okay, we'll take the
Look
features
at
that people
Epi.
didn't complain about in our other games, throw in some stuff that people like about Origins adventure games, and call
Dude,
it a new
shut
engine.
up and talk about
Problem
Epi.
is, it doesn't work. I thought Ravenloft's graphics were pretty good. The game runs in 320 by 400
I like
by
this guy.
256 color mode, so
This
it's at
guy's
a higher
cool as
resolution
hell.
than
I wanna
most
know about
similar
him.
games. But even with
What's
good
his-
graphics, this game
Seriously,
has
what's
one of
his
the
story?
weakest
He seems
intros
so
I've
cool. He's got the
seen in a
hat.
CD-ROM game.
Yeah, what-
The movement is choppy. The lip
I'm
syncing
clicking
and
on him. I
voice
want to
acting
know. Is that Epi?
pitiful,
Is that Epi
and it was
Epperman?
barely enough plot to get you into the game. It definitely gets the game off to a weak start.
I disagree about the graphics. I think they were average at best. Ravenloft's 3D engine is just a clone of Underworld without the detail. As for the intro, that does suck. You'd think by now any cheapo company could at least produce a good intro, especially if it's on CD, not this thrown together garbage. It looks like it's right off a 286 with 16 colors. The character generation is done very well.
This
You get
looks
to
great.
create
Oh
two
my God, the
characters
cat.
from your usual race and class choices, with the ability to have some
petting
multi-class
it.
characters thrown in for diversity. Once the program rolls up your stats randomly, you can edit them to be whatever you want. Not such a hot idea.
Jack in the Box training
Excluding
videos
the
are
edit
coming
option,
later. They're
this
good.
is easily my favorite part of the game.
Like a
I like
kitty.
the character generation too. The interface is designed like a tarot card reading, and that sets a good tone for the game, which is supposed to have a gothic mood. You can choose from a good selection of faces for your characters, but why are so many of the female
Thank you,
portraits
Nello
so
Chaos, for the follow.
These
I
are supposed to
appreciate
be
that.
adventurous, not housewives. And yeah, the edit feature that lets you max out your character's attributes is just plain stupid.
You begin the game by emerging into a forest, ordered to chase down a thief/assassin. You soon find him a short distance away. No problem, a few
I like
swings
the
here
wood
and
on the
there,
ceiling.
and the nasty thing is dead, with only minimal damage to yourself. But upon picking up the goodies left behind by the freshly slaughtered thief, a foul fog rolls in.
Yeah,
transporting
yeah, I
you to
like the
some other part of
barbarian
the map
Santa
and leaving
Claus.
you without the goodies.
I thought that sequence was a good original way to start the game. Plus, it excuses the weak
I
plot
like
in the
this
intro.
guy.
You start
I
out
guess
on a
it's a
simple
banshee.
quest to retrieve Lord Delth's
Hi,
amulet,
banshee.
but suddenly you're transported to an unknown land. Somebody very powerful is
Yeah, the
obviously
banshee's
interested in
poggin'.
you, but who and why? It's a good point to start from and really get your attention. The combat system is similar to that of Ultima Underworld.
Work
but
hits
lacks the
Epi
tactical element
Epperman.
of that
No,
pioneer 3D game.
no, no,
Combat is in real
Epi.
time with the AD&D
My baby
turn-based
Ep.
system used in the background.
My
to
poor
determine
Epi
characters'
Epperman.
speed with their weapons.
Getting
Clicking on
attacked
an
by a
enemy
dog.
causes one of your characters to attack. It's simple and easy, but not any fun.
Save
You just
Epi.
keep clicking on a monster until it dies or you die, and that's the biggest problem I had with the game. Death. It happens too often. About 3/4 of my game was spent restoring games and retrying fights I'd lost. I think SSI needs to wake up. If they can't make a fun combat system, why do they insist on making all your AD&D games so combat intensive?
Actually, I kind of like the attack system. It's right out of Eye of
Nerd.
the Beholder with full 360-degree movement and an everyone attack option thrown in for good measure. What I didn't like is that monsters can move off to your side and attack you several times before your mouse can activate to turn you. The control was maddening to say the least. And yes, the game is nearly impossible,
I'm petting his
even
belly.
with super
Blah, blah,
beefed
blah,
up
blah, blah, blah,
characters
blah,
from
blah,
using the
blah, blah,
crappy
blah.
edit option.
Wake up and smell your party
Petting his
dying.
back. Blah, 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 blah,
Combat
blah, blah, blah,
sucked
blah.
and it sucked hard. The only thing I liked about it was that the monsters circle behind you, although you're right that you turn way too slowly. I can't believe you liked the combat.
Maybe it's just because I'm
These
god
two
at
hate
it.
each other. I love it.
Yeah, that must be it.
Siskel and
There is
Ebert of
one bright
gaming.
point to Ravenloft, the spell interface, another part taken right out of Eye of the Beholder. None of this rune crap or mixing dirt and herbs to create a spell.
I want
Click
to mix
on the
dirt
name
and
of the
herbs.
spell
What are you
and
talking about?
It's cast. All you have to do is memorize your spells, sleep on them a few hours, and you're ready to go. Screw using mana points.
The spell system is definitely one of the best points of the game. In fact, it's the only good part about the inventory system. Casting memorized spells is easy and quick in real-time combat, and that's the way it's gotta be. Your spellcasting characters have an icon between their hands on the main screen, and clicking on the spell icon brings up the list of the spells you have memorized, organized by levels. It's a good way to keep it simple and not leave the main menu. The thing I liked best about Ravenloft is its
I love
handling
this
of
tree.
non-player characters.
I love this
When you
tree.
speak to an NPC, his or her dialogue is rendered in both text and digitized speech.
Oh, digitized
Most of
speech.
the NPC voice acting is a cut above the B-movie screen test delivery of the intro. Once in your party, an NPC functions the same as your regular party members. If you decide to dismiss NPCs from your party, they leave all the items they are carrying for you and usually tells you where it can be met up with again should you require its service at a later time. I think that's a big improvement over most other role players, which tend to treat dismissed NPCs as if they've dropped off the face of the earth.
Something,
I have to
some
say that
guy known as
NPCs are not
Strahd.
my
I want to know more
favorite
about
part of
Strahd.
role-playing games. Getting information from them is okay, but having to drag them along with you just aggravates me. But you're right, if you're going to have NPCs, you might as well do them right. SSI has created a decent way to add non-player characters into the game without a hitch. Unfortunately, that's about all they got right. I think the thing I hated most was the inventory system. It may look nice, but boy is it a bitch to use. You can't just drop an item on your portrait. You have to go into your inventory screen.
Maelstrom,
and place
Fury,
it.
Manta,
If you use an
Anna.
item,
Where
you have
is
to put it in
Epi?
your hand, exit the
Show me
inventory screen,
Epi.
then click on it. If you're going to use a number of items on and off, you're bound to get really sick of this.
I know exactly what you mean. You'd think that if SSI was going to copy Underworld's main view screen, they'd model the inventory system after it as well. It takes so many mouse clicks and screen switches to perform simple tasks like picking up loot that you just
Epi,
end up
no,
getting
I
frustrated
don't want
with the
Epi
game.
to be dead.
And
He
why
didn't
can
get
you
eaten
only
by a
look into
warg.
container if it's in your
Everybody,
hand?
everybody
Why does it go
applaud.
man warg?
Everybody
The
clap if you
inventory
believe in
screen looks
Epi.
like a cute
Bring
little
him
dress-up
back.
game with medieval Ken dolls, but it's just a major pain in the ass.
Epi!
Magic Candle was one
We
of
don't
the
care
best
about Magic
role-playing
Candle.
games
What
of its
about
time.
Epi? What
It
about
has
our
a
boy
fantastic
Epi?
plot and gameplay that'll
Epi,
make you think
Epi,
you're playing
Epi.
a real pencil and paper game on your
Sorry, I
computer.
just...
Look in the main menu.
You
under
can't
Install
name your
Demos for the
character
complete
Epi
game,
and
or
not
check out
expect
our
me to
article
freak
under the
out.
Features section in the main menu. Forget reading. Subscribe to IE. 12 episodes, only $59. Call now.
And now, back to IE.
If you haven't guessed by now, my opinion of this game is not good. Don't be fooled by my trashing of Ravenloft, though. Some parts of the game are actually enjoyable, and it did get those Eye of the Beholder juices flowing. Maybe someday SSI will create a decent role player, but for the time being...
Someday
Westwood
they'll make a
Studios,
good
take me away.
game.
You said it.
Someday.
Ravenloft is the least playable AD&D game yet. Even though the engine is a poor clone, I would have enjoyed playing the game through to the end if the combat system and inventory systems were workable. The game has some strong points, but they're totally buried in crud.
How many tries does it take to make a good AD&D game? More than SSI will get.
I hope TSR takes a good look at where SSI succeeded and where they failed. There's a couple of good points in each of their games, but it's never quite enough. In Ravenloft's case, it wasn't enough by a long shot. What do you think, Garth?
I think I'm gonna hurl, man.
With it.
They don't have a second opinion because I guess they both reviewed it. Let's see the pros.
Decent graphics, music changes let you know if you are being attacked from behind, good character generation, easy-to-use spellcasting system, excellent management of non-player characters. A very lackluster introduction sequence, poor combat system, your characters die far too often, terribly inefficient inventory system, runs slowly, and takes over 20 megabytes of hard drive space even when running from a CD.
I would love to hear them review Descent to Undermountain. All right, Sam and Max CD. They better
Sam
like
and
this.
Max are the stars of LucasArts' newest comedy adventure. Sam and Max hit the road in this game of slapstick humor and old-fashioned fun based on the popular comic strip series by Steve Purcell. At first glance, Sam and Max Hit the Road looks a hell of a lot like a children's game. But
Wrong.
don't let the McGruff looks of Sam or the hyperactive bunny appearance of Max fool you. The humor found in this game is definitely aimed at a mature audience. Sam and Max's chemistry could be compared to that of, say, the Blues Brothers. They work well as a team and are very laid back and cool under pressure.
The
On
Blues
occasion, however, Max
Brothers!
does go around the bend, his personality leaning toward the killer rabbit from Monty Python's Holy Grail. In the beginning, the plot is pretty thin, but as you get further and further into the game, it becomes clear that that's the point. It's fun no matter what your goal is. Oh, and by the way, your assignment, should you care to accept it, is to find a pair of missing carnival freaks. And here's a free hint. You will not find them in the restroom of your local Snuckies. The graphics for Sam and Max are average at best, but the animation and voices are done very well. The dialogue is top-notch, coming close to LucasArts' earlier game, Day of the Tentacle. The music changes from scene to scene, and the different sound effects are truly amusing. Sam and
Oh,
Max's use
Snuckies
of
actually
voices
isn't
and
a reference to
sound
Bucky's.
illustrates why
It's
all
a
adventure
reference
games
to
should come out
Stuckies,
only
if you
on
haven't ever heard of
CD-ROM.
Stuckies.
No more reading
Stuckies is
text
also
balloons.
a
Hooray! The interface for
roadside
Sam and
gas
Max is done
station
very
type
well.
place.
The right button cycles through different article icons while the left button activates them. This is your handy-dandy cardboard box where items are stored. The icon that you have chosen will change if you pass over something important. This saves you a ton of time looking for things and
I
is
went to
very
Stuckies
convenient.
once.
Sometimes, however, the sensitivity
And what I
of some
remember
icons
most is
can
it
be
had a
annoying,
lot of
and you
adult
can
novelties.
occasionally miss
Not
something
the
important
kind
if
you're
the
thinking
target area
of.
is too small and you pass over it too quickly.
But
You
it would
start the
have
game in
like
your office where
a
you
wooden
receive your
box where
assignment
you'd look
immediately.
inside and there'd be like
It only takes a second to get the
like a
hang of
nude
the
woman or
icon system,
something,
and
stuff
in
like
no
that.
time, you're off and running.
Yeah, they also have
This is
pecan
the map
logs.
you'll
They're
use to
very
travel
famous,
from place
pecan
to place.
logs.
You start the game with a limited number of places to visit.
What I
but
mostly
as you
remember
learn
is
more
just this whole
information,
shelf
new
of
spots open up and appear on the travel map. One part of the game that really shines is the inclusion of
Oh
smaller
yeah,
games to
Shonies.
play.
You can't forget
Take this
Shonies.
converted
Do
game
not
of
confuse
Battleship
Stuckies
using cars
or
instead of
Shonies
ships.
with
It may be
Buckies.
simple, but it's pretty fun to play once or twice. And who can live their life
That must have been
without
local.
having
Anyways,
sampled
there
the
is a
joys of
Stuckies
Whack-A-Rat, highway surfing, or
near
Gator Ball?
Victoria,
Why, I may go into a
Texas,
spasm of ecstasy
that
at the mere thought of
has
it.
a bunch of nude novelties in
Now,
it. I don't know
don't
if they all
usually
do, but that
like
one does.
adventure games, especially cartoony ones. But Sam & Max was an exception. It was funny, simple to learn, and challenging without being too difficult. I highly recommend Sam & Max hit the road to anyone who enjoys adventure games, or for that matter, those who don't. You never know. You just may find yourself converted.
All right, what's your second opinion?
Mindlessness is bliss. Or am I confused? You don't have to be an adventure game expert to master this one, but it's still very entertaining. Sam & Max tickles the funny bone with silly cartoon acts of violence and mutilation. S&M is serious slapstick that may not be suitable for children. In other words, I recommend it.
The pros?
Sam & Max's interface is excellent. Even an adventure gaming moron like me had no trouble understanding it.
I'm an
and I
adventure
didn't
gaming
even have to
moron.
read the manual. The voices, sounds, and music are top-notch, easily as good as LucasArts' previous hit, Day of the Tentacle. Sam & Max is also funny as hell. Definitely the funniest game to come down the pike in a long time.
And the cons?
Sam & Max, alas, is not a game for serious adventurers.
Nope.
Particularly those who have no interest in a game that doesn't involve swinging a sword. People that don't like to laugh out loud should also steer clear of this one.
You like laughing? Fuck off. All right, let's go to the reviews. All right, next up, what do you think they'll think of Sonic 3?
They're back. Some said they couldn't. Some said they should.
I know I've done
but
this one before,
they
but we're
did.
doing it again.
Sonic and Tails are back to kick more Buttnik with better moves, tougher challenges, a new character, and, naturally, more tricks. We'll be right back.
You've seen his games, you've played out his fantasies, now listen to what he has to say.
S&M stands
Lord
for
British
Shemp
talks
and
to
Mo.
IE. Check it out under the Features section in the main menu or the Interactive Interviews section in the Table of Contents. Dynamics has long been a maker of great games. One of their latest creations, Front Page Sports Baseball, is on its way. For a sneak preview,
Yeah, they replaced
select
Tales
Features
with
in the
Lord
main
British.
menu or previews in the Table of Contents.
And now, back to
He should be
IE.
named Lord Texas
One
since
of the
he's from
best new
Texas.
abilities afforded to Sonic is the Water Shield. In addition to being able to breathe underwater indefinitely, Sonic can use it to free badniks and bounce for height. If you're underwater, keep it as long as you can. Sometimes air bubbles can be scarce. More prevalent in this Sonic is the use of
Good.
long, steep slides. They provide a little relief as they tend
I
to
will
go
not
on and on.
de-interlace this.
Sometimes they actually send you up instead of deeper underground. Sonic's not the only one with new tricks. Dr. Robotnik's been studying washing machine technology in the off-season.
No!
This tends to be a recurring theme in his devices. New and nifty are occasional protruding wheels. Spin dash on these and voila, instant staircase. Maxwell Smart could have used this baby. Sonic can also fly on strategically located spinning tops. Control direction and speed with the directional pad. This must be why there are so many spikes on top of the screen. The much heralded 3D special stage is everything you might expect, but don't
Much
blink or you'll miss
heralded.
it.
We all
In
know how
addition to your
heralded this
controlling the
is.
direction, Sonic seems to change course abruptly on his own. Your visits will be often, and often will be short. Bring on the codes. Another new defense option is the Electro Shield. Not only will it zap the badniks, but it actually attracts rings to you. This is especially helpful zipping along at a good clip. The award for most awesome new trick goes to the Flame Shield.
Yeah,
When you hit
I
the
was going to
monitor,
say, a
you
lot
have
of
flame
kids were
shield.
actually into
You can
Get
also
Smart in the
shoot
90s
forward in a
because of
ball
frickin'...
flame. Robotnik doesn't stand a
Because of
chance
Nick
with
at
this
Night,
one.
like-
It can also help you up to those hard-to-reach places.
There was a little
The
mini
bonus
Get
stages
Smart
are
renaissance in
destined
the
to be a
90s,
classic.
if I recall.
Opening the
It
gumball
didn't last
machine
for
and grabbing
long,
one-ups
but
will help a lot,
I
and is a
remember
bit of
multiple
fun relief
children,
in the middle of hell.
probably weird children like me,
Almost
watching a lot of
unbelievable
Get
is Tails'
Smart.
new airlift ability. Now Tails can
Also, I
actively
watched
help
a lot of the
Sonic
original
rather than just
Batman,
tag
the
along,
60s
which
Batman.
can be a hindrance.
That's
Careful,
why I'm
though,
gay.
Tails gets tired quickly, and you never know when or where he'll let go. Just in passing, this is next to impossible to perform without a second set of hands. Sonic still has it. It's kept the best features of 1 and 2 and
Sonic
added
still
new
got it,
dimensions.
baby.
The new features are innovative and logical extensions to a winning game. However, more time to complete each zone would be in order. This game has tons of hidden passageways, special stage rings, and of course, one-ups. All you need to exploit this game to its fullest is just a little more time. On the other hand, you can now save games, which should have been included from the start. Enjoy!
Second opinion, please.
In my opinion, everyone who owns a Genesis should own this game. The graphics are better, the speed is incredible, and the sounds are mind-blowing. Sonic 3's new added features, like the save game and the option to play with or without Tails, are great. This is by far the best Sonic yet.
Okay, fair enough. What are the pros?
The graphics are vamped up, the music and sound are excellent, and the speed is just incredible. Not to mention the length has been greatly increased. The new save feature is a lifesaver, and the new abilities like being able to burn out or play without Tails are good additions. There needs to be more variety in the direction of play, like more of an adventure-type game. The bosses
You're such
are
a
too
PC gamer if you want it more adventure-like. I'm sorry. Thank you for your third opinion, chat. Let's go back to the reviews. Sporting News Football. Before I click this, can I just say this sounds like the most boring shit on earth? Let's see what it's like.
As one of the premier sports weeklies in the country, the Sporting News has always devoted a great deal of its space to statistics. That devotion to obscure facts and figures provides a sturdy foundation for Compton New Media's CD-ROM edition.
Compton New Media. Ugh.
The base for this release is the Pro Football Guide that the Sporting
This looks
News
so
publishes
boring.
on an
I
annual
love it.
basis.
Oh, it's a
In the CD-ROM
multimedia football
format,
guide.
there are
Oh,
enough stats
God.
available to satisfy
I need
any
this.
hardcore football junkie. The graphics
Maybe
are
this will
well
get me
done,
into football.
And the guide is very easy to move around in. The major drawbacks are the video clips, which are difficult to see because of their poor quality and the small screen on which they're shown, and the pictures of the individual players and coaches accompanying the stats, which are generally of poor quality. The best place to
I
begin
actually
with this CD
was
is
thinking
the
about.
stats
I'm thinking
section.
about showing
It isn't
off
all
NFL
inclusive,
math
since
in
the
a
numbers included
stream.
run
So
only between
good
the
mention.
1970 and 1992 seasons. However, you can rest assured that if something happened during those 23 years, you can find the appropriate stat. Categories available include offense, defense, and kicking. You can call up a particular season or a list of career leaders since the 1970 season for just the
Football
NFC,
freaks, do you
the
like this?
AFC, or both.
Do you like this
It's a shame
multimedia?
that the stats only go back to 1970.
Would this multimedia
since
get
the
you into
CD format
multimedia?
could offer a treasure trove of information to researchers or serious football fans, including those who absolutely
Oh
have
yeah,
to know
pretty
who
good
the
MPEG encoding. Oh my
2,773rd
God,
player is on
multimedia
the
was not
non-kicking
so
scoring
great.
list. One hopes that with the large amount of work put into the initial release of the guide behind them, the designers will be able to use their extra time to go even further back into the history of the NFL. The Hall of Fame section includes career highlights and statistical information of all of the Hall's members through the 1992
Anyone
season.
want to know
The
about
Players and Coaches section lists
Keith
all active
Alex?
NFL participants and any
Wrong
player
Scott
who
Adams,
retired
I
after the
assume.
1980 season. Since those lists are so long, a search function, called a filter, is included that allows you to look up a player or player by position, pro team, college team, or statistics. That same thorough approach went into the NFL team section,
Oh,
which
yeah,
allows you to look
let's
up
see,
an individual team's all-time records by season, coaching records, and first-round draft picks. The team section also lists all of the members of each organization, from the front office down
I'm
to the
interested.
trainers
In,
in the
I'm a
locker
little interested in this.
We'll be right back.
From the creators of Populous comes Theme Park. If you've ever wanted to manage an amusement park, this is your chance. Check out the demo under Install Demos at the main menu.
British, Lord
Microprose
British. Oh,
has
it's wide,
done it
boys.
again.
Okay, that's
This
fine.
time it's XCOM, their newest strategy game featuring tactical level combat. Look under the Install Demos section of the main menu.
And now, back to interactive entertainment.
Since the guide being reviewed for this episode only went through the 1992 season, the NFL Week in Review section was extremely dated. There was a lot of information available, including brief summaries and box scores from each game, highlights and notes for each week from around the NFL, and standings for each week from the regular season through the playoffs, including the Super Bowl. However, with the information being as old as it was, this section would be of little or no interest to a vast majority of the guide's users. The trivia portion of the guide apparently
There are too
ranked
many.
at
Yeah,
the
I'm with you.
bottom
There are
of the
too many
designer's
Scott
priority
Adams.
list, since questions were repeated on a couple of occasions during a 5-minute
I
stay in
love the
section.
pixelation here. It looks
With all the space needed
garbage.
to store the stats and video
So
clips on
good.
the CD, It's understandable that all parts of the guide don't have the same depth of information. However, that doesn't negate the fact that a trivia game quickly becomes boring if you see the same questions on a regular basis. The trivia problem pales in comparison to
I
the
love
low-rent
Dick
quality of
Butkus,
virtually all of
only
the video
because of
clips
his name,
accompanying the player,
Butkus.
coach, and team profiles. It's ironic that NFL Films receive credit for providing the footage, since the video falls well below that organization's high standards. Whether the clips were old or new, they failed to convey the sense of awe and excitement one usually feels when watching pro football's greats perform on film.
Hey,
The
I don't
poor
feel awe
quality
and
of the
excitement
video
when I
may
see
explain
football.
why
I'm
designers
sorry.
opted to use such a small
I
video
feel.
display screen. Even
I
if
don't
the
know what the
clips were as
football
clear as
feel
a
is when
bell,
I'm watching
it would be
football.
difficult to tell with the way they're presented. Not all of the
JP
football
Ronnie,
videos
thank you
were
so much
video.
for the
Most
raid.
of them were. Given the overall
JP_Ronnie
high quality
just
of the guide's
rated with 3
graphics,
viewers.
It's difficult to understand why the pictures were so poor. Since the sporting news has always relied more on information than presentation, it's not surprising that its multimedia pro football guide performs better when it's standing still than when it's moving. The amount of information available is impressive, and the potential exists for the guide to become the ultimate statistical source for the NFL fanatic who happens to own a CD-ROM once the designers come up with a way to enhance the pictures that accompany the stats.
All right, next up, let's see
As one of the premier...
Let's see the second opinion, actually.
Sporting News Football Encyclopedia was a very inconsistent release, leaving the appearance that it was
Very
put out in a hurry.
inconsistent.
Some of the players have video clips and accompanying photos, while others don't. This would be understandable if the missing clips came from old-time players, but there was no rhyme or reason over what was included and what wasn't.
All right. Pros.
The Multimedia Sporting News Pro Football Guide is an outstanding reference source. It's filled with statistics, they're easy to find, and the great graphics make it fun to look at.
And the cons?
NFL Films provided the video clips for the Multimedia Sporting News Pro Football Guide, and they're wasted. The quality is marginal at best, and even if the videos were good, they'd be difficult to watch in the small display.
Welcome, Max. We're finishing off Interactive Entertainment Issue 1. I'm going through all of the rest of the reviews here. And what else should I try? And then after more sporting. Baseball! Coming soon. Football 94. And then after we finish these, going through Interactive Entertainment, I'm going to show Laserdisc. First, we got to go through these reviews. Next up is Star-Lord.
Star-Lord is a new title from far away and distant lands across the seas. England. A product of Microprose UK, Star-Lord is a
Are
game
there
of
really
galactic
two different
conquest,
Steve
trade,
Jacksons? I
diplomacy,
thought
and
they were the
strategy. At
same.
least that's what they like you to think. It sure does try to do everything.
What?
When I first read the manual, I said, if this game does all of this stuff, well, it's going to be an amazing game. Please note the word if. Isn't that nice? Quite a lovely little space station there. Aren't the graphics pretty? Isn't the animation smooth? No, this isn't a scene from Outpost, but it may as well be for all the good it does this game. The rest of Star-Lord keeps the fluid animation, but the graphics go straight to hell. All this sequence does is serve as a glaring contrast to some of the weaker visual moments of the game. Star-Lord starts off with a nice premise.
Lord
I'll give it that.
Wombat.
Each star system in the galaxy is under control of a Star-Lord who in
Bring
turn
back
is part of
Epi
a
the
large family.
Epperman.
Your goal in the game is to spread your family's power and influence by trading with and, more importantly, conquering Star-Lords of other families. Although trade and diplomacy are heavily touted on the game's box, it quickly becomes obvious that they are only minor points in the game. At the start of the game, your capital ship is orbiting your base star, which is the one star you control directly and is the seat of your power as well as the site of your treasury. If your base star gets subjugated by a rival family, you can count on a public execution being part of your
Wombat
near future.
Devious.
The
Yeah,
menu is
good
hidden
names.
until
Good
you
names
click the
here.
right mouse button, which is one of the only few nice touches in the game. Once you're at this menu, you're ready to begin the game. Let the horrors
Why are
commence.
the butts so well run?
The manual
oh.
comes complete with the tutorial, although I'm not sure it's supposed
like
to be
this
a
guy's
tutorial of
hooves.
Star-Lord. The first thing the tutorial says to do is to
Lord
transfer all
Wombat
your money
Devious,
from your
I guess you
treasury
weren't
to your
kidding.
capital ship. Never mind that if your fleet loses a battle, all the cash you're carrying gets plundered. The next thing you'll do is purchase some fuel so you can get around. You'll need some money for this, but it'll barely scratch the surface of what you just took from your base. To move from star to star, you'll have to visit the chart room. Here you'll gain access to important information such as how many fighters are stationed at neighboring stars, as well as your own. Taking this data into consideration, you'll decide where to go first in your quest for galactic domination. Once you've made this decision, it's back to the bridge for the jump to hyperspace. This jump is heightened
Yeah,
by
I
a
think the
hyper-boring,
narrator's mentioned
demi-cinematic
in
visual
the
feast of
credits.
ashes
I'll
and
go take a look
punctuated by
after
a
we finish
sound
the
effect
reviews
that
because
made
I'm
me think
actually
just
I
jumped
forgot his
directly
name
into
too.
a
I
large,
want to say
solid
he's one of the
object,
writers.
possibly a comet or a Buick Roadmaster. After your awesomely dull jaunt through
Oh my
hyperspace,
God!
you'll
Look at that
talk to the local
face.
Star-Lord. If you're not on overly good terms with his family, you'll be hit up for a star toll. And I thought driving in New Hampshire was expensive. Now you'll get to respond in your choice of attitudes, ranging from politeness bordering on spinelessness, yes, this is an English game after all, to, as Dr. McCoy put it so eloquently, telling him what to go do with himself. In keeping with the theory that the tutorial is always right, let's provoke some hostility.
Okay.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Okay. Folks, stop reading. Stop it. Just stop reading.
Forget
Don't read.
reading. Subscribe to IE. 12 episodes, only $59. Call now.
Done.
Do you have what it takes to save Earth using only your wits, skill, and your trusty sidearm? Check out
I
Corridor
don't,
7,
but that's
the hot
okay.
new action thriller from Capstone, and find out. It's you against the aliens in this fully playable demo located under Install Demos off the main menu.
We now return you to the show.
Okay.
Ah, space combat. Graceful
Nice
and
space
savage
hole.
to behold, pulse-quickening to take part of. Yes, here we see the true elegance, the poetry of wasting someone amongst the stars, far above the polluted atmosphere. Gravity, all nonsense now. Oh, beauty. Oh, romance. Oh, damn. It's just more of that animated intro again. The real game isn't quite like that. It's more like getting kicked in the groin in a dirty alley. Yep, that's more like it. A stomach-churning frolic through substandard graphics and sound.
Anybody
want
wanna
to
get kicked in the groin in an alley?
Interesting,
Anybody?
flying combat since the 2600. The visuals are smooth and quick, and that's the only good thing I can say about them. The game refused to recognize my Thrustmaster FCS Pro as a physical
Yeah,
entity,
that's just a
and
very,
using a
very
Siege flight
specific
stick made
place
me
to
feel
get
like
your
I was
nuts
playing
kicked
on a
in.
Pentium that had been doing crystal meth in between Windows operations. And how about that marvelously useless cockpit, huh? No confusing this with
Hey,
Fleet
I don't think
Defender.
the guy likes
a
the
radar
game.
display that is actually useful would have been a good idea. And who needs digitized sound effects when there's the ad-lib standard? Hey, England, here's a little inside info for you. Here in the U.S., we have this thing called the Sound Blaster. Better get in on this one, guys. It's going to be big someday. Since there's an option to resolve conflicts instantly, the abysmal flight sim phase could be excusable if the rest of the game was engaging. Unfortunately, it quickly becomes apparent that the trading and diplomatic elements exist only as a framework for the combat, a context to help you answer the question, who should I attack and when and with what? Star-Lord is a game that tries to be everything and as a result ends up doing nothing right.
Hooray! I love when
If
that
you want
happens.
some abuse, try ramming your head through a wall. It's less expensive than buying Star-Lord, and when you're done, you can put in some glass and call it a window.
Well, put your head through a wall rather than play this game.
You'll have to excuse my exuberant colleague. I think he suffers from lack of sleep. While certainly not the best game I've ever seen, Star-Lord is far from the worst. If you can stick with it long enough to get past the game's few flaws, you'll be rewarded for your perseverance.
Well, this guy likes it, so what the hell?
Nice animated intro. It has an installation option that allows you not to install the intro and save a little hard drive space, which is something US companies should think about doing. You can delete it from your hard drive in a matter of seconds, which is also nice. Best feature? Star-Lord is not presently available in this country. What's bad? Well, graphics, sound, action, control, 70s bell bottom. Oh, sorry, wrong complaint. In short, everything.
Not a fan, huh? Well, what else should we play? Star Control 2, Privateer, and Master of Orion. Got it. Subwar? Subwar? That's just like Subway.
My initial impression of this game was, oh boy, an underwater flight sim. That Subwar may be on the surface, but the game is
Ooh,
too well
17
executed
slides. I got a lot to
pigeonhole.
say about this one.
A+ for the attention to detail on the command center. It looks like the busy intersection that it is, and you get the feel that you're just a fly on the wall. But then again, who isn't? An options screen is available from the command
Have you
center.
seen the weird
Every
stuff
time
they're
you
selling
enter
at
the game, you
Subway
must
now?
recalibrate
They're
your
selling like
joystick.
foot-long
Terrain and objects
cookies.
can be adjusted to appear textured for
What's
a
up with
realistic
that?
view, wireframe, or
What's
a
the
completely
deal
useless happy
with
medium.
Subway
You will
selling
hear this theme
foot-long
again.
cookies?
Texture view may slow your frame rate slightly, but it's hardly noticeable since the game does not move that fast to begin with. Your sub can be made immune from exploding upon impact with the seafloor or other subs, but you're on your own with weapons. You can also adjust the detail appearing on your screen. With all objects selected, your sonar will even track seals.
Grimblood is the
Naturally,
most
you can also
Amiga
adjust your
game
enemy's
name
abilities
I've
just
ever
to keep it
heard.
fair. Even on the easiest setting, fulfilling your mission goals isn't exactly easy. Once established, it's time for a briefing on your first training mission. Mission objectives and instructions give you all the information you need to get through it. Naturally, you can't move on to the next mission until you've completed the current one. Another pre-mission task is configuring your sub. Each sub does have its own default configuration, or you can customize your weapons cache as well as group formation. You can have
Subway
a wingman
has
or
rice
be one
bowls?
yourself. Your
See,
sub's cockpit is refreshingly concise.
I can't eat
and
at
to the
Subway
point,
because
consisting of 3 status
I
screens
got the
and a
gluten
navigation
allergy
aid.
thing.
From left
But
to right,
like,
they are navigation objective, sonar contacts, weapons, and a
I know they
direction
do
finder
bowl
above the sonar
options,
screen.
so like you can
The
get it
red line is
without
an
the
artificial
bread, but
horizon
like
of sorts, and of course the crosshair. The lighter two can
I-
be toggled on and off.
I'm not
Navigation
going to
is as
Subway
easy
for
as
bowls.
following
You
the
can't
arrows on
make
your
me do
directional
that.
finder and aiming your sub through the green triangles on your screen.
Maybe I'll get
which
the
are
seafood
themselves the
salad bowl
waypoints.
and
The yellow
promptly
bar underneath the
die.
weapons screen shows your sub's own sonar
I used to
profile,
have the
which,
guts of a
strangely enough,
champion. I
coincides
used to
with
be
your
able to
power
eat the
setting.
seafood
The bar goes
salad
all the way
at
to the right and turns red,
Subway
which means you can
so
be detected by
much.
an AM radio
Without any
and a
problems.
beat-up
I don't know
pinto
what it
with a
was with
coat hanger
me.
antenna. Under the yellow bar is your damage indicator, which also goes from yellow to red. The omnipresent grids represent thermal layers, boundaries between layers of water that differ in temperature. These thermal layers
Like,
are
if you
like
tell
lead
me now,
curtains to a
hey
sonar,
Alex,
can
would you
hide
like the
from another
seafood
sub's sonar
salad
by
from
popping through
Subway?
them.
I'd be
The
like,
red grid
no,
means you're on the cooler
that's
side, which is the
bad.
underside.
Don't do
Targets
that.
tracked on your sonar will be marked
And
on your view
yet,
screen with a vertical line leading to the
12-year-old
closest thermal,
Alex would just
supposedly to help you judge distance
devour
to that thermal.
those. Like, I
That
would
didn't help me
just.
any. The
I have
targets are
so many
color-coded and have an
memories of
abbreviation
just
for the target
enjoying
type.
what must
The
have
type
been
pictured
just
is marine
nuking
life,
my
as indicated by
guts.
the word bio underneath it, and its friendly or enemy rating is undeterminable. At the end of every mission, you'll get a tally of your performance. As you can see, it's quite possible to sink
Yeah,
friendly subs.
I
Though
love
this
seafood,
isn't
but that
recommended
was
behavior
that
and
was what
doesn't
was
count
wrong
for
with me as a
completing your mission.
child.
You're also
Like, I
shown
didn't
how
do a
many
lot of
weapons
thrill
were fired,
seeking
how many
stuff.
targets
I
were
did
missed,
like other
and how
than
much
like
money you
roller
earned from
coasters.
the
I guess
mission,
I
which
wasn't a big
determines your
thrill seeker
overall
as a
ranking
as a
among the
teen,
other pilots.
but I
Send
guess
enough
I
enemy
was
vessels
by
to Davy
eating the
Jones'
most.
locker
I would
and
eat
you'll
really.
quickly
I
find
would.
yourself scaling the
I was
corporate ladder.
unafraid back in
We'll
the
be right
day.
back.
I
If
have
you
the fear of
what it
God
takes
in
to
me
save
now when
Earth
it comes
using
to
only your
food.
wits, skill, and your trusty
Seafood
sidearm,
specifically.
check out Corridor 7, the hot new action thriller from Capstone, and find out. It's you against the aliens in this fully playable demo located under Install Demos off the main menu. Magic Candle was one
There
of the
were
best
so many
role-playing
better
games of its
options
time.
too.
It has
I
a
could have had the
fantastic
meatball
plot
sub,
and
but
gameplay that'll
no.
make you think
I
you're
had to
playing
have
a
the
real
seafood
pencil and paper
salad.
game on your computer. Look in the main menu under Install Demos for the complete game, or check out our article under the Features section in the main menu.
What could it possibly be
And
in
now,
it?
back to interactive entertainment.
The damage you suffer in combat can lead to the unfortunate but realistic situation of dealing with damaged components. Possible results of damage includes loss of sonar, which doesn't necessarily disable your weapons, but your torpedoes will be rendered useless.
And you know what
If you
sucks?
suffer any damage at all, get out quick.
To this day,
One
I
great
still
emergency
crave that
tactic is
seafood
to blow your
salad. I
ballast
know it.
tanks
I
and head
why?
out. You can worry
Why?
about finding
What
the
is
waypoint
wrong with
later.
my
Your
brain?
navigate will still point you in the right direction. In this scenario, the culprit is a minefield. All you have to do is get close to one of
I
these
know that if
babies
I
and
wanted
they
a seafood
go boom.
salad
And
that
once
wouldn't
they
kill
go,
me,
the
I could
others
go to
and it's
like
a short trip
HEB
from
and
there.
buy
The
some,
trick is to
but
blast them with rockets from a distance, but you'll need great aim.
I think
A real
I'm
mind-blowing
craving
feature in this
the
simulation is
danger.
the weapons view. Yes, you can actually assume the viewpoint from the head of a torpedo or rocket as it propels through the water. This scene has us about to smash into a mine, and as you would expect it, the lights go out upon impact. This is your tactical view, which displays your position as well as that of your waypoints and any targets being tracked and their type. On those occasions,
last time
when
I
you
had
do take a
seafood,
hit,
it was
check your
actually really
damage
good.
status
It was
screen, which shows a
crawfish
CAD-like
and
rotating
shrimp
view of your
fried
ship and the
rice,
status
and
of
it was
each system.
amazing.
Of course,
I
you
had
would probably
that,
opt for going down with the ship if you knew that you would immediately
I
be
forget
captured
when,
and taken
but it was
prisoner
really,
by
really
the
good.
opposing corporation.
Whale farm
No
base.
doubt destined for some
You farming
slave
whales?
job like an operator
Or what?
in a mail order company. In any event,
I should
being
have been paying
captured
attention
is
instead
as
of talking
good
about
as death
seafood
in this
salad.
game, and thus the less than honorable end of the line for dummy number 2. And that's how the cookie crumbled in this visit to Subwar 2050. Pound for pound, I was impressed by Subwar. Keep in mind, this was my first sub-sin, but you can bet I'll be back for more because I bought this sucker when I was done testing it. Now, if I only had more time.
Despite the somewhat ridiculous concept of this game, I enjoyed it. It's not like any other sim on the market.
Okay.
Quite a flight sim, not quite a sub sim, but a hybrid of the two. Once I got into it, the game was a lot of fun. I recommend it to anyone who enjoys sim games.
What are the pros?
This game handles like a flight sim, but it's set beneath the ocean's surface. The underwater scenery is breathtaking, and the combat is challenging.
And the cons?
The premise of this game is a bit silly. Attack subs patrolling the deep-sea corporate interests of the mid-21st century. Reality check, please.
No, it sounds normal, actually. I don't know what this guy's talking about. What else should we try? Seawolf, Wolfpack, and Aces of the Deep. Okay. Tempest 2000. Surely they like this game.
Tempest 2000 is the first in a line of classic Atari coin-op games that will be revamped for the Jaguar. It's also the best thing yet for that machine. If you're old enough to remember the original Tempest from 1981, this version will blow your head off. If you were in diapers back then, it'll still blow your head off. This
Ow,
is
my
probably
head.
the fastest, flashiest, brain sucker of an arcade game ever to make its way to a home system. This cart has 4 playing modes. The first is traditional Tempest. This is just like the old coin-op game in which you control a claw-shaped blaster patrolling the rim of a web, shooting down anything and everything that emerges from the center. Atari has given this game a mild facelift. It supports a scrolling perspective that lets you view the game closer to the web. Purists, though, can turn this feature off. Your foes remain the same as the arcade version. Spikers, flippers, tankers, fuse balls, and pulsars will give you a refresher course in pain, or introduce you to it if
Not a
you're
fan of
neophyte.
pain, but what can you
And
do?
it only gets crazier from there. The next step in this chaotic evolution is Tempest Plus. Here you can play a 2-player cooperative match with a human friend or seek the assistance of the computer-controlled AI droid. The rules are the same as the traditional match, but the explosions have been updated. A good way to ease players into the frenzy of
Very,
the full
very
game.
Llama Soft
The
explosions
AI droid
there.
is actually quite smart. Better than the wingmen in certain PC flight games I won't mention. Maybe Atari borrowed SNK's algorithm for the computer opponent in their fighting games. Tempest Duel is truly the product of a disordered mind. Luckily, Atari values insanity in their game designers. In this game, 2 human players
Tempest
fight it out
2000
on
is
mirror
the sign
image
of a
webs.
dis- of
Any
a-
shots you fire
Are they
also
saying
appear on your
that
opponent's web and vice
Minter's
versa.
mind is
When
diseased?
you're not firing, you're
That's
equipped
not-
with
that's-
a mirror that deflects your enemy's shots.
That's fine,
back
I
at him.
guess.
Of course, all the other web denizens will be more than happy to kill you as well. Finally, we come to the demented crown jewel of this twisted card, Tempest 2000. In addition to your regular threats, you'll also have to contend with mutant flippers, mirrors, UFOs, and demon heads. You will also collect power-ups that give you increased abilities like particle lasers, an AI droid, warp zones, and a jump feature that lets you leap right off the rim of a web. The graphics of this round are dazzling, and the gameplay is a frenzied blast of colorful images and finger-melting action.
Finger melting
If
action.
you collect 3 warp power-ups in Tempest 2000, you'll go to a bonus round to earn some serious extra points. There are 3 distinct kinds of warp zones, and successful completion of them earns you 20,000 points and warps you 5 zones ahead. This is a very nice touch. Although difficult, the warp zones are a good way to relax in between manic battles on the web, and the extra points don't hurt either. Tempest 2000 features
Manic
a great
battles on the
techno
web. I'm
rave
always
soundtrack
doing
and
that.
eardrum-damaging sound effects. The sounds combined with the ultra-fast play and awe-inspiring graphics create one of the most intense arcade games around. But don't take our word for it. Check it out yourself.
Okay. I'm checking. Pretty sure we've definitely streamed Tempest 2000
Tempest
before.
2000 is the best game yet for a very impressive new system. Fans of the original game will flock to this hypercharged new version, and it should win lots of new addicts as well. It does suffer slightly from the lack of the rotary knob controller of the arcade game, but you can get the hang of using the JAG controller easily enough. One taste is all it will take for Tempest 2000 to suck your brain out through your eyes. Feed your head to the web, he said, for reality will never be the same.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Did I read? Did I read?
Forget reading.
Oh, okay.
Subscribe to IE. 12 episodes, only $59. Call now. You've seen his games. You've played out his fantasies.
Lord
now
British.
listen to what he has to say. Lord British talks to IE. Check it out under the Features section in the main menu or the Interactive Interviews section in the table of contents.
We now return you to the show.
All right. What's the
Tempest
second
2000.
opinion? What do you think about
Finally, a Jaguar game that's good enough to buy. Tempest
That's
2000
true.
is an exact replica of the original arcade. but with a few extras here and there. The music and voices are good, and the 2-player simultaneous option is fantastic. If you're looking for a good game for the Jaguar, look no further.
Okay. The pros.
Fantastic graphics, shocking sounds. This game plays fast and is way more intense than its predecessor. It's the hottest shooter I've played in a long, long time. It'll leave you sweaty, out of breath, and brain dead. What more can you ask for?
I would like to not be brain dead, but, I don't know if I have a choice there.
The rotary dial control of the arcade version is the ideal controller for this game, and the thumb rocker of the Jaguar controller is a little clumsy at first, although I got the hang of it after a few games. In the full Tempest 2000 game, all the dizzying explosions can be overwhelming, but you soon learn to cope with the graphic overkill.
Okay, they like Tempest 2000. Next, Ultima 8 Pagan.
In Ultima 8, you, the Avatar, have been thrown into the hellish world of Pagan by none other than your old nemesis, the Guardian. The people of this new world don't know the Avatar from Adam, nor do they care that you are the savior of Britannia. Your quest, should you choose to accept it this time, is to escape the new and hostile environment.
Thank you, Sizab, for the follow. I'm going through Interactive Entertainment issue 01.
Guardian.
And now we're watching about Ultima Pagan.
When you land in the ocean of this new world, you appear to be fully clad
Is it an
in armor.
isometric
You don't
platformer?
really have
That's
any
no
equipment
good.
on. It just looks that way. Somehow, you avoid a watery death, and you're rescued by a
I don't really
fisherman
like that
who
font.
just
I don't like those
happens to be there
Ds.
to save you.
Oh,
Good
God!
thing, since it seems that the mighty Avatar can't swim. You soon discover that your temporary home is not a very nice one. Your first experience is to witness a bloody execution on the docks. What may come as a surprise, this being an Origin product, is the incredible speed of this game. Even on a 486-66 with 16 megs of RAM, Pagan ran at a snail's pace. You might think this problem was due to the speed of the CD drive, but guess again. Ultima 8 ran entirely off the hard drive. I mean, what's the use of having it on CD? Especially since it doesn't have full voice. In fact, the dialogue that's spoken in Pagan totals about 1%. I pity the fool stupid enough to buy the floppy version and then drop an extra $20 on the so-called speech pack. After you get used to the choppiness and
I
slowdown,
also pity
you
the
have
fool.
to contend with the new controls. They aren't bad, but they're hampered by the speed of the game. The Avatar's animation is simply amazing, but the game speed lessens the effect quite a bit. Unfortunately, you can't just click on a spot and go there. You have to creep, walk, or run, which can get pretty old with the slowdown. Anything you do in Pagan, regardless of movement, generally takes a long time. If you want to save or load a game, it takes an eternity. If you enter or leave town, you can catch a quick nap. It only took around 5 minutes to install Ultima 8 from CD, but uncompressing the files upon boot up lasted a nerve-wracking 10 minutes. If you buy the disc version, identical to the CD without the speech pack, you're looking at a good 20 minutes or so of installation time before you even get to the uncompressing. The
Oh my
graphics for the game are
God.
excellent to say the least, improving on the already great Ultima 7 engine. However, the view has been angled down to give a more realistic feel. The tops of buildings disappear when you walk into them, allowing you to see what's inside. This is wonderfully handled, and I wish the Pagan development team would send a memo to the designers of Syndicate on the virtues of actually being able to see the character you're controlling. The combat has also changed. Instead of just barking out orders, you have to actually control how the Avatar fights. This is a new twist to the Ultima series, which could pose a problem for those uncoordinated traditionalist role players who liked Ultima 7. The animations for the individual movements are very convincing, but when you get into a battle with multiple monsters, the game runs so slowly that it's almost impossible to control your character. This leads to frantic pounding of the mouse, with only minimal success in even the wimpiest battles.
Okay,
Non-player
fair.
characters, usually one of Origin's better points, are done pretty well. That is, if you thought Bill Clinton's inaugural speech was cool. Though there are plenty of characters to talk to, either they have way too much to say, or what they say is absolutely meaningless to your quest. I'm sure a lot of people won't agree, but in my opinion, most of the dialogue in Pagan is just boring filler. One of the few bright points in Pagan is the digitized sound. The screaming of the monsters, the splashing of the water, and the clumping of your feet are all fantastic, thanks to Origin's new 4-voice digital sound. Unfortunately, the music is just average. I mean,
That's a
is
thing.
anyone else getting sick of Wing Commander music or what? Let's get some variety, for Christ's sake. Another nifty new feature is your ability to interact with the environment.
You're on the roof.
Now you can climb rocks, buildings, and anything else you can get your little hands
You're on the damn roof.
This adds a whole new dimension to gameplay if it's done right. Unfortunately, this just isn't consistent. One moment you'll be able to climb up onto something, and the next it'll be nearly impossible.
This just looks like for
very
Cadia to me.
aggravating gameplay and additional brutal mouse beating. In the beginning of the game, attacking any monster more dangerous than skunks or crabs is suicidal. Even as you get stronger and better equipped, the task of exterminating the many creatures is extremely difficult and often fatal. Be sure to save your game every step of the way and be prepared to restore a lot. Magic is one of the biggest parts of any role-playing game. Origin has come up with all sorts of ways to incorporate magic into their games, from runes to reagents to just plain old spells. Ultimate 8 goes the reagent way, using different combinations of odd materials along with a few choice words to create a spell. While I personally don't care for this type of system, it does seem more realistic, and Origin has done a fine job of putting everything together. The graphics for spells
Good
are
job,
impressive,
Origin.
with each spell having its own colorful animation. There are a few particular small annoyances that deserve mention. For
Sorry
instance,
to
some of the
Ultima
monsters
fans.
can rip
Literally,
you to
all I can
shreds
think about
through
now is
building
playing
walls.
for
Or
Cadia in
after
the
they
late
hit you, just
90s
keep hitting
and
you before
going
you
to
have
the
any chance to get
bar
up and defend
and
yourself.
then
And who will
just
play this
reciting
guy
random
Avatar without
song
making sure he had
lyrics.
his water safety certificate?
We'll be right back.
Oh, I
after
didn't
these
know that one of
messages.
the Furcadia
Dynamics
devs
has
worked
long
on
been a maker
Ultima.
of
That
great
makes
games.
sense.
One of their latest creations, Front Page Sports Baseball,
Similar
is on its way. For a sneak
aesthetics.
preview, select Features at the main menu or Previews in the table of contents. Forget reading.
Done.
Subscribe to IE. 12 episodes, only $59. Call now.
And now, back to IE.
Overall, I was pretty disappointed with Ultima 8.
Aw.
The graphics were superb, but the fun factor just wasn't sustained throughout the game. I would have probably really enjoyed Pagan if it weren't so slow and the control was a little better. The plot and action are so slow in the beginning that some people might toss this one on the shelf before they get to the best parts, which come closer to the end. Pagan is not one of my more favorite Ultimate games, and I'm sure that many people will end up agreeing with me. But there are those die-hard Ultima fans that just might love it for the graphics and sound. Let's just hope that Ultima 9 will be something that we all can enjoy.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
In Ultima 8,
Let's see the second opinion.
Ultimate 8 appears to be of high quality in comparison with other RPGs produced by everyone except Origin itself. Many details have an unfinished feel. Inconsistent and rough scrolling made for a bad first impression to a game that I expected great things from. On the other hand, superior graphics accompanied by excellent sound were some of the better points of the game. To put things in perspective, Ultima 8 is a good game, and like all other Ultima series games, it'll grow on you.
Like, it's a good game, trust us.
Ultima 8 has great graphics and superb sound, a new and interesting way of interacting with the world of Pagan, as well as fantastic animation.
And, the cons?
This thing could be compared with running Wing Commander on an old XT. It's
Oof.
slower than death. The NPCs are boring as hell, and fighting takes a long, long time to get good at.
Yeah,
When
this
you
game
land
is
in the
good, it just happens to suck, is the thing. What else should we try? Wizardry, Lands of Lore, and, the Dark Sun. Okay. What we got left here? We got Unnecessary Roughness for all you football freak.
It's tough not to like Unnecessary Roughness by Accolade, a PC football game which tries to please
Accolade?
every level of game player. For the most part, that admirable effort succeeds, despite the fact that the game's designers ended up with a product which is better at coaching than
Is
playing.
this based... No, I guess the movie is called
Roughness can be
Necessary
played by one
Roughness.
player against the computer, or two players
Anyone remember
head-to-head.
that? Along
On
with
the
Mr.
whole, this is a
Baseball?
good
Any
game
Mr.
for a
Baseball
novice
freaks
PC
out
football
there?
player to start with, because Accolade went out of its way to make it easy to learn, with one notable exception. It takes some time to successfully learn to run the ball in the play mode of Unnecessary Roughness, because the designers neglected to make handoffs from the quarterback to the running back
I wish
automatic.
Bubsy was in this.
This certainly
Unfortunately,
isn't a problem
I don't
unique to
think the
this game,
Bubster's here.
But it's a flaw that makes it harder to enjoy. That oversight is ironic in view of the effort that was put
I
forth
also
in
remember the
helping
name
with
of the
passing
movie,
skills in the
Necessary
fun
Roughness,
mode.
and nothing else
You
of
can
it.
choose from 4 different levels in the passing game, including a beginner's category that literally freezes the action on the field, giving the novice quarterback all the time he or she might need to find an open receiver. There are a lot of other things to like about this game. While the player graphics bear a startling resemblance to the animation
Yeah,
in the
Major
mid-1980s
League. That's the
Dire
other
Straits video
baseball
Money for Nothing,
series.
the rest of the game's graphics are easy to look at. The options screen for setting up the game is easy to follow and allows you to quickly make choices ranging from your team and your opponent, the length of your quarters, and the weather conditions. The playbook literally flips pages like a loose-leaf notebook, and the formations and alignments are very easy to work with.
Yeah,
Unlike many
Anaheim's
other
pretty
games, which
conservative.
overload a player by offering them too many choices on every play, Unnecessary Roughness allows you to determine whether you wish to employ an aggressive or conservative game plan then offers you a manageable amount of options. The serious player has a lot to work with in this game. You
I
can
like
set
that
up
they
your
have
own
the Disney
leagues,
Castle right
existing
here.
teams, or your own creations. Since the game is licensed by the NFL Players Association, you're working with real players. who are
Also,
given
if I recall,
performance ratings
Anaheim
based
does
on real
Anaheim have a
statistics.
football team?
However, if you decide you'd be happier with your starting quarterback if he played more like Joe Montana, you can modify his ratings to improve his performance.
Do you like these
That
stats?
versatility
Here's some
extends
more.
to your team's game plan. In the
We
construction
got
menu,
two
you can build your own game plan from
strategies.
scratch, up to and including an option which allows you to determine a specific package of plays for a specific situation when you're in the coaching mode. If you don't like the plays
Yeah, I
you're
didn't
given,
think
you
that
can change
Anaheim
them
had
to
an
suit your own
NFL
taste,
team, but
since the construction menu allows you to change the assignment of every player on the field.
what do I
If you have
know?
an idea for your own player plays, you can design them yourself. In addition to the handoff problem, there are a few other
Arnold, thanks for
dislikable
showing up.
things about unnecessary roughness. ABC sportscaster Al Michaels
I
provides
like the
play-by-play for
evil
the game,
LA.
which
It
is
looks
fun,
like the LA
but
Looks
never
logo. You know what I mean? For like that hair
Unfortunately,
gel.
The limits of modern technology forced Accolade to record Al reciting a limited number of words and phrases, which leaves him sounding about as warm and friendly as a telephone operator. One other word of caution: when I attempted to play this game on a Cyrix DX40, it was temperamental, forcing me to restart on a number of occasions. Also, for some reason, the game attempted to write to my CD-ROM drive, which locked up the system. If you have a CD-ROM drive and experience difficulties running Unnecessary Roughness, try disabling the CD.
Okay.
Accolade deserves a hand for designing a game that's enjoyable on a number of different levels, but not as big a hand as it would deserve if it solved that damn handoff problem.
Second opinion, please.
If you like football, you'll love Unnecessary Roughness. This game's got it all, with great graphics and a roster of real players. Though Al Michaels' computerized voice can get old after a while, barking out choppy sentences, the play-by-play is pretty cool. Overall, Unnecessary Roughness is the first decent Accolade game I've seen in a long time that is actually good. Just make sure you pack a joystick.
And what are the pros?
Unnecessary Roughness is a very easy game to set up.
Okay.
By offering 4 levels of difficulty in its playing mode, it helps the beginner learn what's always been the hardest part of PC football: throwing the ball. For the advanced football fan, the playbook, league, and team design allow you to build your own franchise from the ground up.
And the cons?
The player graphics in Unnecessary Roughness look about 10 years behind the times, and the cute gimmick of having Al Michaels announce the game quickly becomes irritating. Also, the designers decided that you didn't have enough to think about in the play mode, so they make you hand the ball off to the running back yourself.
Okay. So maybe we avoid Necessary Roughness. What else should we try? Football, and football. Got it.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Lord British?
Microprose has done it again.
Ah.
This time it's XCOM, their newest
Hey, Alex,
strategy
do you
game
wanna play
featuring
XCOM?
tactical level combat.
You should play
Look under the
XCOM.
install demo
It's got
section
it's
of
the
the
Terran
main
Defense
menu.
Force.
Under A Killing Moon, Access
Now this I should
Software's
play.
latest
I
creation is
need
nearly
to play
here.
more interactive
With full
movies.
motion, real actors, and a plot that would stump even the best armchair sleuths, Under a Killing Moon looks like their best game yet. Check out our preview in this episode under Features in the main menu or under Previews in the table of contents.
Okay.
And now, back to IE.
Wrath of the Gods.
Wrath of the Gods is the first release
We
from a
know
new
about
game
this
company
game.
called Luminaria. It's a CD-ROM adventure game based on Greek mythology. Running under Windows 3.1, Wrath of the Gods features
when did I play this game? I know I played this game on stream,
that are
though.
so beautiful that
I want to
often
say I
found
played this.
myself
This was
thinking
for
that I
the
was
patron
playing a
request stream, I
high-colored game.
think.
This is a good start from a promising new company, but as with most first
I
releases,
actually really
there is a
like
good
Wrath
deal
of the
room
Gods.
for
It's
improvement.
really stupid.
The background story is the stuff of Greek fables. A son, you of course, is born
If
to
I
the
recall,
daughter of
someone
a
mentioned
Greek
that this
king.
game is free
Although the
online
princess
right
refuses
now,
to tell the
so
king
you could
who
actually go
fathered the
play it if you
child.
wanted.
When the king consults the Delphi oracle, the sage says that in the king's lifetime the child will rule in his place. Fearing for his crown, the king forces his daughter to abandon the child in the woods. The infant is found and raised by a kindly centaur. When the child reaches maturity, the centaur sets him off down
Who
the
here is
path of
being
heroes
raised by a
to
kindly
find his parents
centaur?
and claim his birthright. And so your journey begins. The journey that follows is sort of
Wow,
the
I want to
greatest
do
hits of
that.
Greek
I didn't get
mythology.
that at all.
You'll have to recreate the heroic deeds of Jason, Hercules, Perseus, and a bunch of other ancient toga-wearing dudes. One of the many tasks you must
Yeah,
complete
I
is
was
the
I
slaying of
was
the
raised
Hydra.
by
Although this many-headed bag of ugliness is no match for a good
Godzilla.
sword, there's a bit of a problem.
But a
When
lesbian.
you cut off one head, two
lesbian
new ones
Godzilla.
sprout. What would a hero do? What would an intellectual do? What would Plato do? Oops, sorry, wrong time period. The kindly centaur raised you in the ways of man and beast. Considering this, it shouldn't surprise you that before long you learn to talk to animals. While staying faithful to mythology, Luminaria have wisely decided to write this game with tongue planted firmly in cheek. When you bring this snake to your ear to listen to its sage advice, it offers some true wisdom. Put me down! By now, you may be thinking to yourself, hey, I can't play this game. I learned Greek mythology a long time ago, and besides, I was asleep that semester. Don't worry, Luminaria is a smart enough bunch to realize that not everyone out there knows Hercules from Hiawatha. Wrath of the Gods comes with a context-sensitive information screen. A click of the appropriate icon will pop up a summary of the mythological origins of your current situation. Like Bill Cosby used to say, if you're not careful, you might learn something before it's done. Don't be shy. Dive in, this little cutie says. My immediate response was, where have you been all my life? Alas, it was not to be, as this is a family-oriented adventure game, and not Debbie Does Grease. She's a lonely water nymph looking for a playmate to keep her company. Although you can't stay forever like she wants you to, if you keep her entertained for a little while, she might give you a gift. Now's the time where all you Ultima freaks can say, really? Why didn't I think of that? Hey, look everybody, it's Tracy Ullman. Well, almost, but not quite. There are no name actors in Wrath of the Gods, but at least the acting is better than many multimedia ham feasts out there. This haggling
I like the
will
ham
pop up a few
feast.
times in the
Thank
game,
you.
Always with something to sell you. As you'll soon come into an unspecified amount of gems, it's a good idea to pick up everything you can. The size of your
nice
inventory
carrot.
is limitless, but don't try to tell me that everything is going to fit into that little fanny pack on that loose-fitting toga. Damn, those ancient Greeks were talented. Wrath of
Ham
the Gods takes place in a
feast.
time when the gods still took a direct interest in the affairs of mortals. What this translates to as you play the game is that death is not final, and it's not even a bad thing. Zeus may chew you out for being a mortal trespassing in Mount Olympus, but he'll just send you back to Greece to try again. You may have to do a little exploring in Hades to get across the river Styx, but that's okay too. After all, the dead have knowledge beyond the reach of the living. Until you ask them, that is. Apart from the previously mentioned info screen, you can also get direct clues by consulting the Oracle, sort of an online
Join a
handbook.
college, fraternity, or
This
sorority and learn
context-sensitive
more about the
screen will
Greek
give you a
alphabet.
general
Done.
hint at first, but if you're thick-headed and persistent, you'll end up with a complete solution. Each hint deducts 5 points from your score, but who cares? This is an adventure game, not asteroids. Robert Smith from The Cure washed off his makeup and got into a multimedia project. Not really, but close. Torch Boy here is just another celebrity lookalike, and man, is he a piece of work. This silly little
This
Greek
lady
boy will
is
leave
just
you
having a
dehydrated
blast
for a
with this
price,
game.
and then stand back and watch you try to defeat it without offering his assistance. Only when you fail and talk to him again will he say, "Oh, would you like a little help? Pal, if we were in Rome, I'd throw you to the lions." The only real fault I find with Wrath of the Gods is that it's a very basic adventure game and feels quite dated from its gameplay despite the stunning visuals.
It is pretty
It
dated.
relies heavily on the 5 pillars of adventuring: walk, talk, look, get, and use. Unfortunately, that's about all there is to the game. It's still a fun game to play, but it's certainly nothing new in its mechanics. However, one thing Luminaria does much better than most of its peers is to tell you when you can't use an object in your present location, rather than having you click all over the screen and waste your time. Methinks there's a lesson to be learned here.
That's
All
true.
in all, I was pleasantly
Look at
surprised
him!
by Wrath of the Gods. It's a smart piece of work with a lot going for it. A good first impression from a company I expect great things from in the future.
Now there's a
Luminaria,
man strong
keep the
enough to eat a
wonderful
Subway
graphics and
seafood
user-friendly
salad
design.
sandwich.
Bring your gameplay into the 90s. People are looking for a solid, although conservative adventure that stands apart from the typical purge the Gary Gygax anxiety closet subject matter. Should enjoy this one. If you're a parent with a child studying Greek mythology in school, this would make an ideal present. This is one of those rare opportunities to reinforce school curriculum at home in a fun way.
Second opinion, please.
I didn't like Wrath of the Gods
Oh.
at all. It's way too
Wow.
slow, and there's not really all that much to do. There's no character interaction, and the plot is just a string of puzzles to solve. The graphics were very nice, and I did like the Oracle help screen, but the game just wasn't interesting. This type of adventure game is so far out of date, there's no reason to play it.
I completely disagree, and I think you're a putz.
The photorealistic graphics in Wrath of the Gods are extremely impressive. The game is very easy to learn. Players can jump right in without even reading the manual. The addition of online, context-sensitive information and hints is something more software developers should include in their adventure games, as is the voice that tells you when an object in your inventory has no use in your location.
And the cons.
The gameplay is extremely simple and breaks no new ground. As
That's
a
true.
character, you are limited to walking, talking, looking, taking, and using. The game also plays slowly, requiring fairly long waits while the graphics data is read from the CD.
And what else should we try? Dragon Sphere. That is me when I'm round.
We'll be right back.
Oh,
after
we're
these
almost
messages.
done.
From the creators of Populous
Boo!
comes
I
Theme
hate
Park.
theme parks
If you've ever
now.
wanted to manage an amusement park, this is your chance. Check out the demo under Install Demos at the main menu.
No.
Magic Candle was
No.
one of the best role-playing games of its time. It has a fantastic plot and gameplay that will make you think you're playing a real pencil and paper game on your computer. Look in the main menu under Install Demos for the complete game, or check out our article under the Features section in the main menu.
No.
And now, back to IE.
Well, we're almost done with IE. We did it! Folks, we have gone through the entirety of IE. Oh my god. I think the only thing we didn't see was hints and tips. And it's just about Magic Candle. So we're good. We're good. We did it. We did it. We went through everything. Oh my god. Oh, I feel like I've died. Yeah, so that is issue 1 of Interactive Entertainment. My god, we did it. We did it. Oh, let's get out of here. Let's actually see the credits. We wanted to see who the announcers were, didn't we? Okay, we got Yale, Steve, Tim, Tim and Jim, Chris and Greg. Thank you, Mary. I'm sorry you didn't sell anything. Okay. A lot. John Voorhees. I like this music. Thank you to these people. All right, here are your announcers. I don't know any of them. So let's all go to Vermont and get issues of IE. All right, and that was Interactive Entertainment issue 1. We did it. We went through the whole fucking thing. We have gone through every little bit of review of Interactive Entertainment 01. And as a reward for you putting up with all the reviewing, we are going to be screening some Jack-in-the-Box training laserdiscs, including one training laserdisc that literally trains you how to use a laserdisc. So get excited for that. Let me just shut down the computer here. Shut this down. Nope. There we go. All right. I'm going to cut to break now. It'll be about a 10-minute intermission while I get set up for the next thing. I will see y'all in about 10. I'm here. I'm back. And that was music. I hope you enjoyed music. The number one thing that people like. Actually, I don't know if music is the number one thing people like. I think that the number one thing people like is probably, well, in this chat, probably video game. But there we go. And here. But who this was archived by. This is on YouTube and on archive.org, so you can check that out there. It's also in the official playlist that I made for the channel. Get that here. You cannot read that. That's good enough. Why are you fighting me? I should just put this down here. No, I'll fix it. Hold on. Thank you for your patience. I'm just trying to make sure credit is readable. Archived by Media Hoarder. It's hard to see. I will find a way to make this readable. I will. I am determined. I have God on my side. There we go. I actually don't have God. There we go. Go. Oh, that's as good as it's getting. All right. Jack in the Box Laserdisc Trading, archived by the Media Hoarder, who's both on YouTube and archive. Highly recommend it. Let me just put the playlist link in the chat. And yeah, let's go. And we're going to start off with not just Laserdisc training on a Laserdisc, but literal training how to use a laser. And this is listed under Food Maker because Food Maker is the company that owns Jack in the Box. All right, you ready to learn? You ready to fucking learn? This was before the E. coli thing, and I just want you to know, at Jack in the Box, and I just want you to know, I worked at Jack in the Box in the mid 2000s, and when I went through training, the one thing they talked to you about very seriously was preventing cross-contamination and cooking things thoroughly. Oh my God. They beat that shit into your head. It was beautiful. They were like, you are not going to E. coli us again, motherfuckers. Sorry. This was on Laserdisc. This is a Laserdisc rip. Listen to this music. You like that? I want that Laserdisc player. What does interactive mean? Which keys do I use? Laserdisc?
Each of these very important questions will be answered in this training session. To begin, we recommend that you view this program in the sequence outlined on the disc jacket.
Okay.
Throughout this training disc, you will be instructed in how to recognize and respond to program prompts, also called decision points. Please take your time, which is one of the primary benefits of video disc training. By the end of this training session, you will be able to operate the remote control unit, use the remote control unit to interact with typical video disc training programs, and recognize acceptable standards
think the
of
disc
equipment
jacket
care and
is
safety.
archived.
Welcome to the world of video disc training.
Yeah, since this is a training
Video
Laserdisc, it
disc
does
is
go
a
over
training
menus
tool
pretty fast.
designed to support the classroom phase of instruction. As with any tool, it can be abused.
All I
and its
need
value
is
lost
I just
when
want to make
used for the
sure
wrong
I get
purpose.
a
Let's look in
a
on a
Laserdisc
situation
player that lets me use
dramatically
interactive
illustrates
discs.
how
I need
not
like one
to
for
use
interactive
video
discs and one
training.
for like normal Laserdisc.
Bonnie, I'm not going to have time to train you at the prep station today. It's just too late and we're very busy up front. What I want you to do is look at this video, learn whatever you can, and then go practice with Mark.
But
Catch me later in the shift if you have any questions, but I don't think you will. This disc is supposed to cover almost everything.
You jackass.
What we illustrated in the preceding segment is very important. Video programs are designed to enhance and supplement classroom training, to standardize training delivery, and to better prepare the employee for trainer-led OJT. Video training will never be a substitute for on-the-job
This is true.
training.
I got on the job and video training. It wasn't Laserdisc, though. I'm pretty sure it was DVD.
Interactive simply means that you have control over the material being presented. By using the remote control, you can select the order of the material, stop the presentation, replay certain portions in normal speed and in slow motion,
Ooh, slow-mo
experience
microwave.
structured reviews, and respond to exercises. Later, we'll explain more about the interactive capabilities of video disc training. Trainers should preview video programs prior to a training session.
Why are they
Recommended
dressed
training
like that?
guidelines are printed on the disc jackets. These guidelines are designed to assist trainers in preparing for employee training sessions. By design, some of the video disc programs you receive will require less interaction than others.
Boo!
Much like a standard training film, these programs are intended for linear or beginning-to-end viewing.
So
This
many
completes
rhombus
main
wipes.
menu topic number 1. Our program's main menu will now be displayed on the TV screen. When it appears, select topic number 2.
All right, here we go. And 2.
What you've just done is interact with this video program. Viewers interact by selecting keys on the remote control to respond to decision points in the presentation.
I love
A
these
decision point is any point in the
early
program
80s
where you must enter
hairstyles are
information
so
on the
fucking
remote
good.
control in order to continue. The most frequently used keys will be the blue number keys, 1 through 9. The blue 0 key will be addressed later in this program. The gray keys are special function keys and include stop, clear, run index, scan, forward and reverse, slow, forward and reverse, and step, forward and reverse keys. The blue play key, also a special function key, will be addressed later in the program.
This is a Mogus. This is missing now. I see it.
Special
I see
function keys are used to interact with portions of a program or to help viewers locate specific points in a program. During the next portion of this training session, you will be shown typical video disc decision
Yeah, my
points.
latest
Go ahead
hyperfixation
and
is Laserdiscs,
interact with the
unfortunately.
program when instructed
But
to do
Laserdiscs
so.
are cool. It's like the CDI, but bigger. Much bigger.
Structured reviews are built into most interactive video presentations. In the next portion of our program, we will present 2 common review types: timed still review and step review.
Got it? Good. Okay, does
What you are now viewing is a typical motion
I'm going to try
sequence.
something. Give me a bit of patience here. I want to see. Hello? Okay. I was going to see if it would let me
What you
fast
are
forward
now
and go
viewing-
back with the enter buttons. Oh, it does, but it only lets you go 10 seconds. It lets you go 10 seconds back with the left and
What you
right
are
key.
now
I was
viewing
hoping they
is
would
a
do frame by
typical
frame, so I could
motion
actually frame by frame through the menus, but
These
it doesn't
are often
look
used
like
to illustrate a procedure or situation.
this has the option, unfortunately.
If you wanted to temporarily stop the program, perhaps to answer a phone call or take a few notes, you could do so by pressing the stop key.
Okay.
This would freeze the action until you were
And
ready
it
to
looks
resume.
delicious. Whoop!
When you
You
were
see that
ready to
Chicken
continue
Supreme
the
fly?
program, you would press the play key. Let's repeat this last motion sequence.
Pasta and
so that you can
seafood.
practice
Would
using
you
the stop
tell me,
and
Chad?
play
Would you order
keys.
seafood from Jack in the Box? Would you order seafood from Jack in the Box? Guess what? I would, because I'm
Using the
wild.
scan
I
special
would.
function
I
keys
would.
causes
I
the
would. I
program to
100%
jump
would.
forward
And you know
or
what?
in
I would get
reverse during a
so
motion
sick.
sequence.
I would get the
A
sickest.
motion
It'd be
sequence
great.
is defined as any moving portion of a
You know what else
program
also makes me
or
sick? Wendy's
whenever
chili.
you
I
can
can't
hear
eat that.
sound.
It's like every
If you
time
were
I eat
viewing
it, I
the
get like
motion
baby E.
sequence
coli.
and were interrupted, you could press the scan reverse key. The program would then jump backward 10 seconds
Those
and
little
begin to
tacos from
play.
Jack in the Box are
You
so
can go back
good,
to the beginning
but when
of
you
a
make
motion
them,
sequence
you
by
literally have to
continuing to
pry
press
them open
scan
after they're
reverse
fried to stick
each
in the
time the
cheese,
motion
and it would
sequence
burn your
begins to
fingers,
play.
and now I hate them.
Remember, this key can
I
only
was
be
so
used
bad
while
at
viewing
making
a
them.
motion sequence.
I was the absolute dog worst at making tacos. No, I'm not doing this in VLC on Fort E, huh? E is for next train.
The slow special function keys allow the
I'm gonna
viewer
press a
to
button, and if
replay
this
certain
crashes
motion
OBS,
sequences in slow motion.
Sorry.
A decision point
It doesn't
will
do
follow
anything.
these
Okay.
motion sequences.
No, I was just wondering if that would
This
work.
prompt will ask whether or not you wish to replay the previous motion sequence in slow motion.
Oh, chorizo breakfast
If the
burritos.
answer
That sounds
is yes,
good.
press either slow key, forward or reverse, and the motion sequence
Yeah,
will be
the
repeated
interactive
in
discs
slow
I want
motion.
are the celebrity, are the
Remember,
like Chevy
not
and
all
Ford
motion
and Buick
sequences
training
permit the use
discs
of
where
the
they
slow
would
special
there are
function
some
keys.
of them where they made some really involved interactivity, and I want to get a player to show that off, but that's going to
Hello.
be a pain in the
In
butt.
this portion of our program, you'll have the opportunity to practice using the slow special function key.
This tape is a Laserdisc
Slow
that
special
Jack in the
function
Box
key
used in
can be very
1981, I
helpful when
think,
shown a procedure which contains
to train
rapid
people
movement.
on how to actually use a
Once you view the
Laserdisc.
procedure at normal speed, a decision point will indicate whether you have the option of viewing the procedure in slow motion.
Yeah, I
When
love the
prompted to
big
do
ties
so,
they're wearing.
Practice using the slow key after viewing the next motion sequence. Keep in mind, the audio portion of the program will not be heard during slow motion playback.
She does look like Joe from Facts of Life. What the hell?
With the tomato slicer firmly resting on a solid surface, move the pusher handle to the open position. Place the tomato upside down between the pusher head and the blades.
Yeah, that's
Grasp
why
the pusher
Felt Temp.
handle
That's why
with
I'm
one
looking for a
hand,
Laserdisc
placing
player that
your
can
other
actually play
hand
this
on
stuff,
the
which
stationary handle
I'm
to
just, I
steady
feel
the
like I'm be
slicer.
waiting a while for that to
With a
pop
quick,
up,
steady
but, you
motion,
know.
push the handle.
That's
to
my
force
goal.
the tomato through the slicer.
Holy shit, I just did the whole
Continue this
tomato in one
procedure
bit.
until all cored tomatoes are sliced.
After the previous motion sequence, you are presented with a decision point, which prompted you to use the slow key. Normally, you would be provided with other options, such as continuing
those
the
things can
program,
really
but
mess
we
you
want
up.
you to
They
practice
scare
using
me.
the slow key. The next portion of our program will discuss the clear and run index keys.
Yeah, I hear to
While
get the
viewing
car
a
ones to
video
work, you
disc
have to get a
training
Laserdisc
program,
player that can
if
run
you
in
are
service
requested to
mode.
enter
And
a selection and
I
you
don't know where to get
accidentally
that.
enter an incorrect selection, simply press the clear key, then the run index key. You will be returned to the last decision point in the program, the place where you entered the incorrect selection. Whenever a display like this appears on the TV,
The following
have
scenes
accidentally
contain some
pressed the
mistakes.
clear
Write the
key
mistakes down
and
on your
one or
review
more number
worksheet. Oh
keys.
my god, I hope we see that.
Remove display
We got another
by
Laserdisc
again
after this
pressing
that's
clear key,
a bit more
then
normal.
the run index key. The final special function
The
key
function
you
of
may
the
wish
O
to
key,
use during a training
when you see
program
something good and you
is
go,
the blue
"Oh."
0 key. Pressing the 0 key will return you to the program main menu at any time except when you are viewing a motion sequence in slow motion. In this case, you must wait for the completion of the slow motion playback before pressing the 0 key. Now, let's check your understanding of special function keys.
Okay, I understand functions a lot. Got it.
Pressing the stop key while viewing a motion sequence will stop playback and freeze the motion sequence. Pressing the play key will resume playback of the program. Pressing the scan reverse key while viewing a motion sequence will cause the program to back up 10 seconds, then begin to play. You can go all the way back
So
to
it
the
had
beginning
like
of a motion
like those
sequence
YouTube
by
10-second
pressing the
reversals, I
scan
see.
reverse each time the program begins to play.
Mm-hmm.
Viewers must be prompted as to when the slow motion keys can be used. Remember, not all motion sequences will permit slow motion playback.
I really do want to see slow motion of that tomato cutter because
Two common review techniques
Yeah.
used in video disc training
Dangerous.
are timed still
I
and
was never
step
allowed to
review.
chop the veggies and
If
stuff
you
when I
were
worked
viewing
at
a training program
Jack in the Box. I
and
only worked
accidentally
the
entered an incorrect selection, what two keys
I only worked the
should be
drive-thru.
pressed to return you to the last decision point?
Press clear key, then run index key to return to the last decision point.
correct answer is false. Oh, it's true. Okay.
You may press the 0 key to return to the program's main menu, except while viewing a slow motion sequence.
Yeah,
If
I
viewing
quit
slow
Jack in the
motion,
Box
you must
because
wait for slow
the
motion
constant
playback to
beeping
finish
noises
before pressing the 0
and
key.
my hearing issues made me, I don't know how else
Our
to say
disc
it.
training
I went
systems,
insane.
the
I
remote
couldn't do the
control,
job,
disc
and
player,
I
and
was
TV
really
receiver
bad at it.
Are designed to provide years of
All
dependable
strength to
service.
anyone working
Accurate?
fast
That's
food. That
correct,
was
ma'am.
absolutely the
And
hardest
we can all
job I've
help
worked
to
in my
ensure
life.
this by following a
I
few
just
basic
straight up could
guidelines,
not do
which
it.
will now
I
be
was bad.
illustrated.
I was just too shitty at fast food.
Never set equipment up near water or handle equipment with wet hands. Water can damage equipment, and water coupled with electricity can kill you.
No!
Never place any objects, especially liquids, on top of the equipment. Just one accident can ruin
You
your disc
idiot!
training
You
system.
clown! Oh!
Always cover the system
Fuck
components
you!
with protective covers when not in use. Try not to touch the flat surface of the video disc. Discs are rugged, but oil from your
He's
skin
just
can cause
rubbing
dirt
all
to
over
accumulate
it.
and stick to the surface.
Oh, he spilled coffee on the laser disc. Ah!
Hold the disc by the edges whenever
Okay.
handling it. Always put the disc in its sleeve and jacket when not in use. Discs can be stored either
Slop.
flat or on edge. If stored flat, no more than 5 discs should be stacked. If stored on edge, be sure they are fully upright. Storing discs correctly will help prevent disc warping. Never scrub or use abrasive cleansers on a disc.
I'm trying to figure out which one of these I'm going to use as my
If
next
there is
alert,
an
and they're all
accidental
so
spill of
good.
material on a disc, first try gently wiping the disc with a clean cloth towel.
That was mustard and ketchup.
If the spot or stain remains, gently wipe the disc with a clean cloth towel that has been soaked in warm water and squeezed dry. Be careful not to get the disc label wet. When you are finished, be sure the disc is thoroughly dry before playing it. Now, let's check your understanding of these equipment care and safety precautions.
The following motion sequences contain mistakes.
Okay.
Watch each sequence and jot down the mistakes you observe and what you would do to correct the situation.
See if I can pause this. What mistake do you see? My favorite! My favorite! Spill it! Spill it! Toss it like a frisbee. Eat it. Take a big old bite out of it. Stomp on it like you're an idiot. Come on, come on, come on. So, like I saw someone earlier. Yeah, put it in a hamburger bun. What did they do to that disc? It's covered in slime. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Following these equipment care and safety guidelines will really help all of us in the long run. It's also a good idea for all managers to review the safety instructions contained in this operating handbook.
I want the LDV
Ma'am?
600.
We're really
No, it
looking
probably
forward
doesn't
to
do
video
shit,
disc
and it's
training
like
as a
icky.
means of enhancing and standardizing our classroom presentations.
And providing management with additional time for on-the-job training.
And that will really improve performance.
I love that. Oh, it's coming at us. The Food Maker Training Department. Food Maker is such a good name for your restaurant company. Tricom Video. Good job. That was Laserdisc Training by Jack in the Box. Training on how to use a Laserdisc. This is now a Laserdisc from Jack in the Box to train you on how to work at Jack in the Box. Welcome to a winning team. Welcome to a shitty team. Yeah, they used to be called like Disco Vision and all kinds of things. Laser Vision and stuff. It took a while for the Lasers name to come up.
Welcome to Food Maker.
Thank you.
We're proud to have you as part of our winning team. To be successful in our business, you need quality food.
Did you see
great
that bench
customer
setup
service,
they had?
and an attractive and clean dining environment.
Oh, I miss when
It also
environments
takes
were
a
dark and
positive
dreary
attitude on
inside.
the part of all of us to maintain the high standards set by our company. These standards can be summarized in 3 simple words: quality, service, and cleanliness. QSC. Quality, fresh and appealing food. Fast, friendly and helpful service. And sparkling clean and pleasant surroundings. Quality, service, and cleanliness are what keep our customers satisfied.
I miss
and
the
keep them coming
grungy
back
late
again
70s
and
look
again,
of restaurants
often
where it was
bringing
all
friends.
wood and
This
brown
leads to
and
even
dark
more
inside.
satisfied customers and
It
more
just had a
sales.
nice depressing feel to
It's
it
up to
that a
you
lot
to
of restaurants
maintain
don't
the
have
QSC
now.
standards
A lot of restaurants
every
just
minute
don't
you're
have
on the
that
job. You are
you're
the
in
host,
grandma's
and the
basement
customers are
vibe
your
anymore.
guests. The way you prepare the food, serve your guests,
Or wood vinyl.
and
All I know,
maintain the
I love
restaurant's
wood
appearance
vinyl. I'm pretty
determines
sure
the
it's like
customer's impression
flammable
of
or
our
some shit.
restaurants. Maintaining
Yeah,
the
fast
highest
food places with
possible
cloth
standards
chairs,
of
can you
quality,
believe?
service, and cleanliness is a big responsibility. We realize that, so we'd like to give you some helpful tips that will
Exclamatia,
make
you're
your
right.
job easier.
Sorry, I was
Quality.
thinking about the McDonald's
Quality
video we
is what
saw
people
from
expect when they go to
1971.
any
And it
restaurant.
was
Quality
absolutely
food,
not as
quality
whitewashed as
service,
this one is.
and a
What the
quality
hell? I didn't
dining
even notice.
experience. When they come to our restaurants, they make no exception. Quality food starts with fresh ingredients. If something looks old or spoiled, don't use it.
Ew, ew,
If you
ew,
wouldn't eat
ew,
it,
ew,
certainly
ew,
don't
ew,
serve it to
ew,
one of
ew,
our
ew,
guests.
ew, ew.
It's our job to maintain that consistent quality in all of our products and service. Quality also has to do with appearance. Every item on the menu should be prepared
what is
by
that?
the book in a
Cooking.
consistent and appealing manner. When guests unwrap their food, it should look as appealing as it tastes. You are the key to the quality of our food. Take pride in your role as a food maker master chef.
They never made me wear
Service.
a hat like that
Good
when I
service
worked there.
goes hand in hand with high quality. Our guests want fast, friendly, and efficient service, and our goal is to please our guests.
Okay.
To help meet that goal, here are a few proven service techniques. No matter what your job is, always greet guests immediately. They may not be ready to order, but at least they'll know that someone is
I
ready
think
to
Jack
help,
in the Box
and they
is
won't
fine.
feel ignored.
I don't think there's much I can eat there anymore, so I haven't eaten there in a million years, but it's fine. I like the curly fries.
Get to know our regular customers and treat them like special guests. They'll want to come back, not only because they like our food, but because they feel welcome.
I guess they are all wearing handicap hats, aren't
They're not
they?
feeling very well today, so I thought I'd cheer them up by bringing them a surprise from their favorite restaurant.
Oh, well, tell them I said hi and you get better soon.
Thanks for asking about them.
Hey,
Treat every guest
if I'm
as
at a
an
fast food
individual.
place, you
Be
don't need to
sensitive
ask me about
and
which
try to
relatives of mine are
anticipate their
sick. It's
needs.
okay.
Our job is to provide
You don't have to
quality
be like that
service,
with me.
not
You
just
can
take orders.
I don't
Put
want.
yourself
I
in
don't.
the customer's shoes and offer
If
them
I'm at
service
like I don't
even
know
before they
sweet
ask
greens
for
or
it.
whatever, I don't want them to know what's going on in my personal life.
Supreme, a large French fry, and
I'm
a
just here
large
for a
Coke.
salad.
You look rather thirsty. Would you like your drink now? The rest of your order will be up in a minute.
Hey, that's a great idea. Yes, please.
I'm gonna knock over
Good
the cup
service
with
also
a
means
racket.
making that extra effort, taking that extra step to please our guests. This not only helps keep our guests satisfied, but it creates favorable impressions that can mean repeat business.
Here's your order. That's 1 hamburger, 1 jumbo jack, 1 small french fry, an order of onion rings, and 2 small Cokes.
Thank you.
Looks like you could use a little bit of help. Why don't you find your seat and I'll bring this over to your table.
Thanks, I am kind of running out of hands.
Why is she bringing her groceries? Whatever. None of my business.
As you can see,
none of my
a lot
business
of
what the
common
people of the
sense,
80s
coupled
are
with
doing
a
at
little
Jack in the
extra
Box.
effort,
None of my
creates
business.
the kind of service our guests deserve.
Yeah, I like that guy's accent.
Just
Bring him
treat every
back.
guest the way you would like to be treated.
Excuse me. Thanks for bringing my tray to the table. That was really nice of you.
Sure, no problem at all. Please come back again.
Thank you.
No one says please come back again.
Cleanliness. Keeping our restaurants
Ever.
clean and spotless is essential to maintaining the image we want to project. Unclean is unhealthy. That's an image no restaurant can afford to have. It's essential that every inch of our restaurant be clean, both inside
What is that
and
patio
out.
area? It's
Areas
beautiful.
within the
What the
guest view
fuck?
should sparkle at all times.
Sparkle.
It's the responsibility of every
ashtrays?
team member to keep
I think
the
those are
work areas
ashtrays on the
clean.
table.
Also, cooking
Wow.
containers and utensils must
Smoking
be clean
inside
and
a Jack in the
sanitized
Box.
before
That's
being
terrible.
used. By doing your
Oh
part,
my
you'll
God.
help to set a good example for everyone else.
Imagine how bad Arby's would
ensure our
smell if you
quality,
could smoke
service,
inside
and
it.
cleanliness
Oh,
standards are consistently met in all of our restaurants.
eh.
QSC specialists make
Eh.
periodic inspections to let us
Sorry.
know how
Every
we're
time
doing.
I've been to an
But the
Arby's,
real QSC
it has a smell
specialists are our
that makes me
customers.
nauseous. I
If
don't
we
know
get a
what's
high
going
score in
on.
their
I don't
book,
know what
they
it
reward
is,
us
but
with
I
repeat
can't.
business and increased sales. Quality, service, and cleanliness. 3 simple words with a great deal of impact. QSC is the foundation for food makers' steady growth and is helping shape our future success.
Okay, so hear
By
me
doing
out.
your
I
part to
swear
maintain our
that
high
the
QSC
reason
standards, part of
Arby's
that
smells to
success
me
can be
is
yours.
whatever bathroom cleaner they're using, because it's
There's
the
a
way
lot
the
to learn
bathroom
as
cleaner
new
smells. Every
employees.
time I
And
go
at
in
first,
there, I don't even
everything
go
may
to the
seem a bit
bathroom. I can
overwhelming.
smell the bathroom
Our
cleaner from the
restaurants are
bathroom,
divided into
and it
workstations
makes me
including
nauseous.
prep,
Thank you, Samus, for following.
fryer,
Appreciate it. Thank
and
you.
customer service. Although the person at each station performs separate functions, everyone works together as a team to ensure a smooth and efficiently run
Yeah,
operation.
Jack in the Box, we're a team.
There's an orderly flow of product from back to front, from
The
storage
last time I've been to an
the
Arby's was
prep
over a
area,
decade ago.
to the grill
I
area
have
where
not
cooking
been to an
and assembly
Arby's
takes
since.
place, and
Oh
to
my
the
Lord,
counter
I lived
where
in
the food is
Houston.
served to the customer. When someone in the system fails to do their part, the system breaks down.
Yeah,
and our
what the
customer
hell?
service goals cannot be met.
Look at how bored they
the
are.
result is unhappy customers
They're not
and
gonna get E.
possible
coli
loss
now.
of business. Teamwork also
They're not going to get their
involves
Jack in
being
the Box
helpful and
seafood salad,
supportive
which
of
you
fellow
know
employees.
is healthy.
We all find ourselves under a lot of pressure sometimes.
Yeah.
But a positive, patient, and friendly attitude goes a long way towards making everyone's job a lot easier. Every job in a restaurant is an important one. No matter what workstation
Yeah.
you are assigned to, it is critical that you
Having
perform your
worked Jack
job
in the Box,
correctly
it's definitely
as well
hell.
as efficiently. You will be scheduled for training at an assigned workstation.
Don't put your finger so close
First,
to that.
your
What are you
trainer will
doing?
Explain what is expected
Stop
of
it!
you. Next, you'll have the opportunity to watch an experienced employee.
I don't like the
working
way you're doing
station.
that, sir.
You will then study the
You're too
proper
careless with the
workstation
finger
procedures
chopper.
in your cook and book training manual. In the last step of your training, your restaurant trainer will show you each workstation procedure and provide you with time to practice. We don't expect you to do everything perfect the first time, so if you have any questions
What
or
is
don't understand something, be sure to ask your trainer.
Price gun.
The skills and knowledge you gain through training are the
Oh,
stepping
price
stones
gun is
to
for
your
price.
future
Got
success and advancement.
Actually, I think that's for
Your
knowing how
on-the-job
long that's-
performance will determine when you are ready to move ahead to another position. Your manager will evaluate you periodically to let you know how you're doing.
Doing good, but
Promotions
you've
and
only
pay
chopped off one
increases are
finger in the
based on
tomato
how well
mandolin.
you
I think you can
perform.
get two.
If you exhibit
Keep
the
chopping your
willingness
fingers
and
off, and
necessary
eventually you'll make
skills,
manager.
you could be selected to enter the Shift Leader Training Program. From there, you have the opportunity to advance to Assistant Manager Training.
Ew.
Foodmaker likes to promote employees from within. Many of our managers started as production employees, just like you. Rules and regulations.
Please keep door closed.
They're part of our daily lives. From our home life
Sure, you can stay out past midnight. If you want to be grounded for a month.
to our working environments. We also have some rules, policies, and guidelines. They've been created for our own benefit. By following them, we make the restaurant a safer and more pleasant
Take
place
me to
for
here.
ourselves and for our
Return.
guests.
Return
Your
to the
trainer will go over
nasty,
some of these rules in more
nasty
detail,
secondhand smoke-filled
explaining
Jack
that
in the
failure
Box.
to follow them can result in disciplinary action or even termination.
Mm-mm.
Remember that rules serve an important purpose and are for everyone's benefit.
It does look
At
like a
Food
Sizzler.
Maker, we
Fuck,
dress in
it
attractive
does.
uniforms that are designed to
This is
enhance
so
our
Sizzler
restaurant's
coded.
image.
Oh my God, that's why
Dressing
I love
for success
Sizzler.
is one way to put your best
Oh,
foot forward
man.
in any business. As times change, so do our uniforms to keep up to date with current fashion trends. The company will provide you with everything that a well-dressed employee needs.
I
From
do
jeans
want a
to shirt
1980s
or
Jack in the
blouse,
Box living room. That
to
would be
apron,
a pain in the ass to
name badge, and hat or visor.
run,
Accessories
but you know.
such as protective aprons, goggles, and safety gloves must also be worn to protect you while performing certain cleaning tasks. You must provide your
Yeah,
own
they moved away
shoes,
from rhombus
keeping
wipes.
a few important guidelines
Look
in
at how
mind.
nice those
They
shoes
should
are.
be
I just want you to know
dark-colored,
my shoes I wore
low-heeled
were
with a
tennis shoes
non-slip
and no one
sole,
gave a crap.
closed-toed, and above all, comfortable. High heels and platform shoes are out. So are open heels or fabric shoes. All are
We
either
wore fabric
unsafe to
shoes and
walk
they didn't
in
give a
or
shit.
don't provide enough
Pain.
protection if you drop something on your feet.
Crunch.
We can dress you up, but we can't make you look clean and healthy. That's your department. Remember, you're a representative of the restaurant and our company. How would you like to be served by a person who looked like this? To meet safety and health regulations, the company has certain appearance guidelines we all must follow.
Oh my God.
Your hair must be neat, clean, and well-groomed.
That guy seems
It must never
kick-ass.
extend below the bottom of your collar. Sideburns must be kept short, at
Boo.
or above the bottom of the earlobe.
Are you kidding me? That's too short. My hair,
Mustaches are acceptable,
mine is way
but must
longer.
be neatly trimmed at the lip and above the corner of the mouth. And as far as beards go, they don't, not in our restaurants. Clean hands are a must in any restaurant to prevent germs from being transmitted. Always wash your hands thoroughly whenever you use the restroom.
Done.
Or return from a break. Keep your hands away from your hair and face when working. Also, keep your nails trimmed and well manicured. Simple jewelry can be worn, but dangling necklaces, earrings, and bracelets can be hazardous, so
That's
save
true.
them
It can
for
catch
after
on
work.
something, and then your wrist
Hey,
is
you're looking
exploded or
pretty
whatever.
good. Now let's move on to some other rules that help us maintain a professional work environment around the restaurant. When you are working at the restaurant, you should be concentrating on your job, so no distractions. Eating, drinking, smoking,
love
and
this
gum
guy.
chewing are
He's
not
my
allowed in the kitchen or
favorite.
service areas.
He's one of those guys
No
who you would
personal
work
phone
at,
calls
who would
unless
like,
it's an emergency.
he'd be great at his job,
Visiting with
but he would
friends
put
and
in zero
off-duty
effort.
employees
Oh
is
my
not
God.
allowed when you are on the job. Idle conversation interferes with the restaurant business and is against the rules. Your manager carefully schedules employees so the right number will always be there to meet the needs of our guests. It's important that you work your scheduled hours, always be on time, and only take breaks when you're directed to do so. Following these simple rules
Yeah, that
makes
guy
everyone's
definitely sells
job
weed to
easier
the other
and
employees.
enables us to provide better customer service. Sometimes schedule adjustments can't be avoided. If an emergency comes up at the last minute, be sure to notify your supervisor immediately so someone can be called in to take your place.
I
And
got
when
E.
you
coli
need time
from eating
off
the
for special
burgers.
occasions, let the manager know as soon as possible
Look at
so
that
that arrangements
jacket.
can be made.
Look at that hair.
In order to
That
get
had to have
paid,
been bad
you must
sideburns.
punch in and out on the time clock. The time card must indicate the exact hours you worked. We also have some rules regarding your personal safety and security. Since you're our greatest asset, we don't want anything to happen to you. Here are some security guidelines that have been set up for your protection. At night, before leaving the restaurant, check the parking lot and surrounding areas for anyone who appears to be watching the restaurant. If you notice a suspicious person, remain inside and notify your supervisor. At all times, day and night, keep the back door locked.
Okay.
After dark, leave the restaurant by the front door. At closing time, always leave with another employee. Never leave alone. Follow these common sense
You're gonna
rules,
get killed in the
policies,
Jack
and
in the Box
guidelines,
parking lot,
and you'll have nothing
apparently.
but smooth sailing ahead.
When I was a new employee, I was shown the safety film
Sir,
that you were
speak
about
up,
to
sir.
see. That was a long time ago, but what I learned from that film still means a lot to me in my job today. Watch it, and you'll see what I mean.
Okay, so before we go on, I need to warn you. What's coming up next is an old safety training film. I don't know if you remember how they used to do safety stuff for driver's ed in the 60s and 70s, but I don't think it's real gore, but there may be some fake gore coming up in the next section. I just wanted to give you a warning.
Coming soon to a Jack-in-the-Box store near you. Deadly Dangers, featuring an array of horrors so incredibly ordinary, you'll think it could happen to you.
Oh, I love the German parody.
Thrilled to the unknown terror of poor security and the deadly dangers that lurk just outside the back
This
door.
might not be gory. I actually haven't had the time to screen this part, but I did see that it had a 70s deadly danger sequence, which I am, yeah. Who do you think's coming in? Is it Lesbian Godzilla? I like that outfit. They need to bring those back.
We have to keep this door locked. It's our best hope of security.
But security alone isn't enough, for there are other deadly dangers already at work inside the store.
Careful, Ted. The floor's awful slippery.
Hey, I'm as sure-footed as John Travolta.
Well, I think flatter heels would be a lot safer around here.
Hey, it's style that counts, Tina.
Well, at least you better walk flat-footed till the floor dries.
You worry too much.
You'll cringe in
No!
horror at the workings of
Do
the
not!
insidious tomato slicer.
Stop the No!
Ted, you better use this safety top. This thing can really hurt your fingers.
Oh, no!
My way's easier. Quicker, too.
Oh, my God!
Deadly dangers have only just begun.
That's the worst thing I've ever
And they lurk in
seen!
the most unexpected
That's the worst thing I've
places.
ever seen! I don't want to work at Jack in the Box anymore.
You may not know it, but you're flirting with a deadly danger. But
I'm
me,
cool.
Let me show you how to lift this without injuring your back. For safety's sake.
He's right, though. You can really mess up your back. As a guy with a bad back, it's like, my one suggestion to all of you is to always bend at your knees.
There's nothing wrong with my back. There's something wrong with my back.
And
Yeah,
there's
bro.
even more. You'll watch breathless as the inattentive young Casanova flirts with 375 degrees.
God, no,
horror.
no, no. Don't show this. Don't show this. Oh.
Hey, Tina. You ever think about the time I
I
took my
hate this
motorcycle
guy.
over the Caspian Sea?
No.
You better watch yourself, Ted. Those fryers are no place to fool around.
Ted, you idiot. Yeah!
And just when you think you've seen it all, the bubbling fryer threatens to bring down the house.
Call the fire department, Tina.
Yeah, what about Ted's hand? Ted's julienne fried hand.
Hey, where's the fire?
Look at his hand, it's all...
Only spread a grease fire.
Don't!
Pull the O-ring for the fryer.
Don't put water on a grease fire. I'm glad that they tell you that. I'm really glad they tell you not to put water on a grease fire.
If you have a weak heart or dainty stomach,
I do.
there are only 3 ways to cope with deadly dangers.
Idiot, idiot, idiot,
Be
idiot.
aware. Be alert.
Ah, I hate you, Ted.
Always be prepared. Maybe you can escape the gut-wrenching grip of deadly dangers. But remember, They're coming to a Jack-in-the-Box store near you.
Seems like a great place to work, everybody. Seems like a great place to work.
The safety of our employees and guests is of primary concern to the management of our company. That's why we just showed you the Deadly Dangers film. Even though the film is an older one, it still effectively illustrates some very important points. The more information you have about safety, the more accidents can be prevented, and the better prepared you will be when something does happen. It's much easier to learn the procedures and guidelines now than to try and learn them when an accident occurs.
As part of your training, review the emergency procedures contained in the cooking book. You should refer back to them from time to time to keep them fresh in your mind. To ensure everyone's safety, and when handling an emergency, be sure to stay calm, use common sense, and
Skeleton
follow
Witch, thank you
proper
so much for the
procedures.
follow. We will stay safe at Jack in the
We've
Box
set
for
high
sure.
standards for quality,
That looks disgusting.
service, and cleanliness. Standards designed to please our guests and meet our goals. We've learned the rules, from proper appearance to professional work habits and personal safety. We now have the knowledge to be the best.
I will not
The
Julianne
rest
my hand.
is up to you.
Welcome.
Welcome to our winning team.
Oh! Just a little zoom in, not too much. We don't want to scare anybody. And that was Jack in the Box Laserdisc training. So do you all want to work at Jack in the Box, the most deadly, dangerous place on earth? You're going to die in Jack in the Box. You're going to die if you work there. Absolutely not. No, don't work at Jack in the Box or you will die. You will literally die. Holy crap. I like the part where we learned about how to use a laser disc. I don't like the part where we nearly died and Ted just put his hand in the fryer like he was Butthead. Actually, it's more of a Beavis behavior. But yeah. Wow. So we're educated and yeah. Well, I was glad to finally get through Interactive Entertainment 01. I'm going to be moving on to issue 02 either later this month or next month. I got to decide. And as for the next stream, I do have another stream planned for not next week, but the week after. It's in my schedule and I'm going to be streaming more goodies. So do look forward to that. And yeah, let's thank you all so very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope I've entertained you with interactive entertainment and some of these good old Jack in the Box laser discs. Now, before we go, let's look for someone to raid. Who's streaming? Ooh, Sebmall's streaming. I think it's been a while. Sebmall on. All right, we're raiding Sebmall here. Thank you all so much again for watching. And if you like seeing me, check out Retro Pals on Twitch because that's where I normally stream. So do check us out there. And yeah, I'm going to set up this raid and head on out. See you later.